Make sure you're double tapping away in that phone screen, sharing out this live with a handful of friends. Let's try to get up to 500 shares. And if you don't want to share this live with any of your friends, or you don't have any friends to share it with, copy the link. It does the same thing. It is so good to see you all in here with me today. Welcome in. I'm in a good mood today. I'm pumped. I'm energized for the first time in a while. I think we're going to have some good debates. Brianna, thank you for the galaxy. Oh, sorry, I had to get a drink of water there. If you're one of the first 1.2 thousand early birds, I mean, seriously, early birds, we started the stream a minute ago, literally 60 seconds ago, and you support the Trump administration and you'd like to come up here and tell me why I should too, because quite frankly, right now, I don't see any reason to. Hop in that queue for me, drop a MAGA down below in that chat, and yeah, we'll take it from there. I just want to know why. I want to know why anybody in their right mind is supporting the current administration. Seriously, right now, I don't see any good reason to. Economically, terrible. Social progression, out of the window. Fascism in the government. Consolidation of power, likely. I don't understand why there's still Americans that are like, yeah, this guy's doing a good job. So help me understand if you support Trump by hopping in that queue, and we will get you up on the live. In fact, we are going to go to get that first guest, Spooky, in the guest requests box right now. Hello, Spooky. How old are you? Oh, my God,
what's up,
Brianna,
man?
thank you for the level up. I appreciate you for the love, Brianna.
Whoa!
Wow, that was awesome. What's going on, man? How old are you?
I'm 19 years old, man.
19, and do you support the current administration? Are you MAGA?
I'm gonna be honest. I just want to share my little piece. I'm a big fan, man. Keep up the great work.
Spooky, I appreciate you so much for the love. I'm sorry for quickly removing you. Just know that I appreciate you. Show Spooky some love in that comment section, everybody, especially because I don't get some debates underway. But hey, man, seriously, I really appreciate that, Spooky. Shout out to you. Moving on to the next guest. This person has MAGA in their name. Wow. Hi. Tell me, why do you support the current
What's up,
regime?
you fat? I'm gonna fucking you.
And they are kicked and they are gone, and we are moving on to the next guest, everyone. We got VIS loading up into the queue. The first Trump supporter came up here, dropped the hard R, and said that he was going to R-word me. Hello, Vis. Do you support Trump?
Really say I support Trump. I just find his abortion, his stance on abortions be more moral than Kamala's.
All right. Well, if you don't support the administration, we are going to go ahead and move on to the next guest. Appreciate you for your time, man. Typically, I hold a very hard, strict, certain red line with the first guest of the day, where we are looking for somebody that supports the administration, and that is it for the very first guest. A very firm, strict red line. Hello, MOTZ. Do you support the Trump administration?
No, I do not. But
all
please
right, have
don't
a good one, man. I'm sorry, dude. I'm really sorry, you guys. I have to hold that red line, at least for the very first guest. So please, if you're in that queue and you don't support the Trump administration,
What's up, you
please
fucking
leave the
white?
queue. And the second Trump supporter also dropping the hard R. So far today, we've had two Trump supporters that have actually come up on the live, and both of them have just dropped the hard R. I'm sorry that you guys have to hear that. What is going on? Do you support Trump?
Dane, I just actually want to say that
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Dude, you were likely gonna go on and say that you appreciate it. That's what I sensed. Just know that I appreciate you, man. The first guest, we are just looking for a Trump supporter. What is going on, Donald? Do you support Trump?
I have a question.
Do you support the Trump administration? I'm sorry, man. Do you support the Trump administration?
I have a question before.
Then see ya, man. Peace out, because we are only looking to debate people that support the Trump administration. So if you are one of the 2,000 people in here and you do support the Trump administration and you'd like to come up here and debate, go ahead and drop a MAGA down below in that comment section, and we will get you up on the live, y'all. I'm going to let you skip the line because right now people are not taking the rules of the live seriously and hopping in the queue regardless if they're a Trump supporter or not. So if you actually are a Trump supporter and you actually would like to come up here and have a conversation, drop a MAGA down below in that chat. What is going on? Jay-Z, do you support Trump? That sucks because I love piano too, but I'm serious about that damn red line. Get the hell out of here. Moving on to Jesse. Next guest is loading in right now, y'all. Everyone, just give us a minute. Hello, do you support the current administration? Trump's admin. Jesse, we're gonna go to count down from 5 here. 4, 3, 2, 1, and no response. Goodbye, Jesse. Wow, look at that. So right now we are 6 minutes into the stream. 20 guests in or so. Not one person has been willing to engage in a conversation with us yet. We are having a streak of bad luck. If you want to skip that queue, if you support the current admin, go ahead and just drop a comment down below in that chat, and we'll get you up on the live right now. We'll let you skip the queue. We'll let you skip the line. Let's go ahead and get that next guest up in here. Drop a maggot down below in that chat. We'll get you up here. Next guest, Mr. Chicken, is loading in right now. Here we go, everyone. Also, make sure that you're double tapping away on that phone screen. Let's get up to 200,000.
I'm back, bitch. Nigga.
And then, okay, so we've had like 3 people that actually support the Trump administration. All 3 of them have just come up here and called me the hard R, and then 2 of them have threatened to grape me. So yeah, I want that to be clear. I want that to be so clear. Thousands of people are in this live stream right now. I mean, literally 2.4 thousand conscious sentient human beings. Out of the 2.4 thousand conscious sentient human beings, three of them that support the Trump administration have joined the live, and all 3 of them have not told me, hey, here's why Trump is a good president. They've not told me, here's why I support MAGA, here's why I support the admin, here's why I think that they're guiding this country in a good direction. They've just rather said, I'm going to like forcefully engage non-consensual intercourse with you. And I mean, that should really tell you where MAGA sits today, okay? They know that their view is not substantiated with fact, reason, and logic. They know what they're supporting cannot be scrutinized as it is not the truth. So they'd rather, unalive people that disagree with them. That's about it. So we're going to go to get that next guest up here. Let's see a MAGA down below in that comment section. If you support the current administration and you'd like to come up here and have a conversation. What's up, Carson? How old are you?
How's it going, Dean? I'm 19.
19. Do you support the current administration?
I mean, specific things.
I'm asking you overall. Do you think that the administration is doing a good job?
I can't say I do overall.
Okay, well then we're going to go to move on to the next guest because we are looking to debate people that do overall support the administration. If that is you, if you do overall support the current administration, hop in the queue. If you're in the queue and you don't, I'm going to start banning people just because we're now over 10 minutes and 30 guests into the stream. Hi, Cass, are you MAGA?
No, I love you so much. Oh my god.
Cass, I appreciate you for the love. I'm not going to ban you just because I just said that before I accepted you. However, I am going to start banning people moving forward, but that is incredibly kind of you, Cass. Moving on to the next guest, everyone. Here we go. What's going on? Do you support the current administration?
No, I just love you, man. Thank you. Bye.
Dude, okay, I'm not going to ban them either, but like, what the fuck is going on? Okay, moving on, everyone. We got the next guest, Pam, loading up into the box. Here we go, everyone. All right, guys. Next guest is loaded in as we speak. Hello, do you support the current administration? They left. Okay. All right. At this point, we're going to go and load up one more guest from the queue. And then after this, if this is not a Trump supporter, hello, do you support the current administration? Ha, 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 ha.
No, I just love you.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're now going to ignore the queue. And the reason we're ignoring the queue is because of fans that love me. If you love me, please don't make me ignore the queue and make me shift the way in which we operate the live. It's a big impediment upon how these streams are run, so I'd really appreciate it if you would not do that. If you want to come up and have a debate, if you want to come up and have a conversation, just drop a MAGA down below in that chat, y'all. We'll get you up on the live. Let's go and connect that next guest who's spamming MAGA down below in that chat. I am going to make it crystal clear there, though. If there is somebody that's spamming MAGA in the chat that isn't MAGA, you actually are going to get banned, and I'm not joking about that. What's going on? You're spamming MAGA down below in that chat. Why are you MAGA?
This is the 3rd time I've been up here. I love you, Dean. Sorry. I'm bye.
Dude, come on. You were spamming MAGA in the chat. Why do you do that? Like, why? I reject that. I don't think that you actually love me. I'm actually completely fine in saying that you don't actually love me. Like, if you're gonna like willingly violate my boundaries, type MAGA in the chat when I'm specifically only asking Trump supporters to type MAGA down below in the chat. Like, that is incredibly disrespectful. That is, like, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm not gonna ban you. But like, that is incredibly disrespectful, man. We're going to go to get that next guest up in the box right now. If you are spamming Maga down below in that chat, make sure that you do support the current administration. You are at least 18, and let's go to get that next guest up here, y'all. Looking for the next guest. Here we go, y'all. Next guest is loading in. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go, everyone. Once again, the only Trump supporters that are in law live just want to come up here and say the N-word. Yeah, it really speaks for where the right's at right now. Hello, BJ. Do you support Trump?
Yes, but just for perspective, I'm Canadian. Can I still talk to you?
I'm actually really surprised that there's a Canadian that supports the administration. We are only looking for people that are at least 18 years old, people that are from America, in the last 13 minutes. Yeah, I mean, being in my shoes is definitely a bit.
Oh, say, can you see?
Hey, Natty.
Early light was so proudly we hailed at the twilight.
All right, moving on too. This is getting ridiculous. This got ridiculous a long time ago. Honestly, what I think is that I've scared the Trump supporters away. Like, at this point in time, the Trump supporters know that they cannot beat me in a debate.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, 1 second, Gav. The Trump supporters know that they can't beat me in a debate, so they just come up here to troll to like delay it live. That's it. That's it. They know that they can't beat me in a debate. That's it.
Can you hear me?
What's up, Gav? How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 18.
Yeah. Do you support the current administration, sir?
I mean, honestly, man, I was gonna ask you if you could change my mind. Like, give me a reason why I shouldn't support Trump.
So, do you support Trump?
I mean, yeah, kind of.
Okay. Well, I mean, let's start off with that. So, why do you support Trump?
I don't know, on an economic standpoint, I think.
So, you think he's good for the economy? Why? Why would you possibly think that?
I don't know, man, with these tariffs, I mean, I think we're kind of having a power play over many countries, especially China, especially today, how they just lowered their tariffs on us.
So actually, they didn't. That's the thing. So they had tariffs on us. We had tariffs on them. We increased our tariffs on them to 250%. They increased their tariffs on us to like 100 and like 75%. And then we both mutually agreed to reduce our respective tariffs by 115%. However, the inevitable tariff that is still left is still equal to and or higher to the tariff that they originally had imposed on us. So not only did those tariffs hurt America's economy, reduce our own GDP, send us barreling towards a recession, help in making life harder for low and middle class Americans, but it hasn't really materialized into much. So how could you say this is good for the economy?
I mean, bro, look at it. Like, at the end of the day, right now, I think, in my opinion, it's not really that, like, I support Trump as much as I just don't want Kamala in office. That's kind of like where I stand with it. So I mean,
I don't get it. Explain to me out. What was the worst thing about Kamala Harris that you think if she were to have been the president of this country, she would have done?
Border defense in general. In my opinion, I think the scheme was, just from like my opinion, that the Kamala organization would let a bunch of immigrants in, so then they would vote blue. And that's pretty much like what it was, because at that point you didn't have to have a citizenship.
Undocumented immigrants, right?
Illegal immigrants.
That's what an undocumented migrant is. It's the same term to refer to the same individuals, but one is dehumanizing and one isn't. Now, Mr. Gav, you just said at the time you didn't need citizenship in order to vote. Are you registered to vote?
Yeah, I'm 18. I was born in 2006.
So you likely registered to vote like not too long ago, right?
Yeah, just this election. I actually was going to vote, but I didn't.
Yeah, and when you registered to vote, did you have to give the registrar your social security number?
No, at the time I did not.
Okay, well, that's a lie. So you're not actually registered to vote. In all 50 states, when you register to vote, you have to give your SSN. That's true.
Okay, what do people, when they get their green card, what's the social security number?
Do you mind, 1 second, do you mind, one moment, do you mind like correcting yourself and, either telling us that you're not registered to vote or when you did register to vote, you did have to give your social security number?
I've definitely registered to vote for sure.
So then you had to give your social security number.
Okay, sure. If that's what you want to say. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like it doesn't make a difference.
Well, it does make a difference because when you register to vote and you give your social security number, they check if you're a citizen, and you can only be registered to vote if you are a citizen predicated on that social security number.
Okay, let me ask you this. How do you prove that you're a United States citizen?
By registering to vote, giving them your social security number, and they back check that social security number against their registrar's citizens' SSNs.
No, that's an irrelevant answer to what I asked you. I asked you, how do you prove you're an American citizen?
When you register to vote, that's exactly how it's proved.
Okay, so by registering to vote, that makes you a registered citizen, is what you're saying?
When you register to vote, you give them your social security number.
Okay, how does
they ensure that there's a social security number that applies to a citizen? Sir, can you listen to what I'm saying? I don't really appreciate you incessantly interrupting me. Okay. I'm going to be incredibly clear here with what I'm going to say. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
When you register to vote, you give the registrar your social security number.
Right.
They then take that social security number along with your name, date of birth, and active address, and they check that against their overall registrar inside of your state to ensure that you're a citizen.
Okay.
And if you are a citizen, you are thereby then registered to vote and able to vote.
May I ask you
However,
again?
if you don't provide them a social security number, and if that social security number is not registered to a citizen, your
Right.
registration to vote will be denied,
Okay.
and you won't be able to vote. What
Yeah, I
this
agree-
means
I agree with you.
is
Yeah.
that you actually do have to be a citizen in order to vote.
Okay, for sure. But like, can I ask you, how does, like, for example, like hypothetically, a 13-year-old, how did they become an American citizen?
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm unwilling to answer your question because I want you to respond to the claim that you made that I disproved of this idea that non-citizens can vote.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there was a bill passed that essentially, like, you have to show citizenship in order to vote, which wasn't passed that long ago, actually, by the Trump administration. But
So no, you've always had to be a citizen and prove your citizenship in order to vote because you have to be a citizen and prove your citizenship in order to register.
okay, what about 2020 then? 2020 when Joe Biden was elected, right? What about that time when all the ballots, what were happening with the ballots? How were so many people coming over the border illegally? And for some odd reason, so many ballots were unmarked with random people. Like, how's that possible then?
Unmarked ballots with random people? What does that mean?
Unregistered people to vote.
There weren't.
There definitely was. If you look at the statistic, dude.
Okay, show it to me.
I can't. I mean, you can look it
Yeah,
up.
because
on-
it doesn't exist.
I just don't have a screen sharing prompt.
Oh, no,
or
you're able
anything.
to give me a source, such as a title of an article, website, etc.
I don't know.
Because once
Look-
again, you can't cast a vote if you're not registered. That's just
Look-
simply not true.
Look up ChatGPT, bro.
So I'm not going to use AI to prove your claim. I think that you
Okay.
can give me a source on your own, Mr. Lazy Gavin.
Okay. Well, all right. Okay. At the end of the day, dude, like, what I think, like,
At the end of the day, what I'm saying is true. Like, you've always had to be a citizen in order to vote because you've always had to register to vote. And in order to register to vote in all 50 states, you have to provide an SSN that is linked to a citizenship. I don't understand why you're being so dense. Obviously, the people watching don't like it. Since you've started this incredibly dense position where you're unwilling to concede for whatever fucking reason, over 1,300 people have left the stream.
I mean, I was gonna ask you to change my mind, bro. That's just pretty much. I was an outsider view. I mean,
What
yeah.
else do I need to provide you to change your mind?
I don't know, man. Like, I said I like Trump on an economic standpoint. I would appreciate if you disbound that and, like, essentially show me a new way of looking at it, you know, a new ethical way of looking at it.
So I
That's
want to
pretty
clarify, I did give you evidence to believe that he's bad for the economy, but then you pivoted into the border and how Kamala Harris is so bad, and then you said Kamala Harris was bad because she wanted more undocumented migrants to come into America so they could vote for the Democrats. Then I clarified that undocumented migrants can't vote.
Okay. Then again, let's rebuttal. Essentially, what I said was I like.
No,
Trump
I
on an
either
economic
want you to accept that or rebuttal it. Undocumented
Okay.
migrants can't vote,
Afterward,
and I've
you
never
asked
been
me
able to
what
vote.
I didn't like about Kamala because I voted or I wanted Trump in office, rather Kamala.
No,
because at the end of the
dude,
day-
I want you to either accept, concede, or rebuttal. Okay, undocumented migrants can't vote, and undocumented migrants have never been able to vote.
Yeah, as of 2025, yes.
No, before 2025 as well.
No, man. Definitely, there is cases of many illegal immigrants.
So you're just saying nuh-uh, okay? But
Yeah.
that's not a counter response. Once again, the reason why undocumented migrants have never been able to vote is because you have to be registered to vote in all 50 states. And in all 50 states, in order to register to vote, you have to provide them a social security number, okay?
Okay.
Undocumented migrants do not have a social security number.
What do they have? Well, sorry, that's what I was going to ask you. If you knew what the name was, the terminology.
You muted yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
All right, sorry. I was going to ask you, what's the terminology for, so when someone who's going through citizenship, getting their citizenship, what's it called, the type of number they get? It's not a social security number, it's a different type of...
Undocumented migrants specifically can work with the use of ITINs, which is just an individual tax
It's similar to one,
identification
right?
number.
It's similar?
No. It's just a form of identification used by the IRS to link a worker on a W-2 to a human working. And when you
Right.
don't have a social security number or an EIN to make said link, you use an ITIN. And ITINs are available to undocumented migrants through DACA and work permits.
Okay. Yeah, can I ask you another question, man?
Yeah.
So, like, theoretically, if Kamala was in like office right now, like, what is like one of the things that you like the most?
Yeah, after you concede that you were wrong, we can move on to the next thing.
I mean, man, let's just move past it. I'm just trying to.
No, I want
understand,
you to
like-
rebuttal what I said. I'm sorry, man. Like, I'm not willing to just let you pivot.
I'm not pivoting, bro.
Yeah,
I was
you are.
asking, dude. I was asking you to give me like a new explanation or like perspective on politics.
But like I gave you that as it related to undocumented migrants not having the ability to vote, and you just can't accept what I'm saying. So then tell me why what I'm saying is wrong. Katie, thank you for the meat red. I appreciate that.
What I was saying was like basically you're just a bitch, and
Okay, so now you're getting upset because I disproved you and you can't handle it.
Nah. You're just a bitch.
Your emotions
Trump
are
2028. Shut the fuck
this
up,
is where
pussy.
you leave. This is where you
Fuck
leave.
you, pussy.
You're gonna run away from me. You're gonna run away from me. Yeah, you just come up here, you say words, and then you run away with your tail in between your legs. This is how it always goes. It's a crash out, man. It's a very typical MAGA script. You come up here, you make a fake, false, unsubstantiated claim that doesn't relate to truth, only relates to your emotions. And then when I prove that, you get mad, you crash out, you call me a bitch, you call me a pussy, and then you leave. I mean, hey, man, it literally cannot get any more like typical than this. This is the script. This is the script for young 18-year-old dudes that support Trump. And quite frankly, it's nothing new, and it'll never stop. And you know, it's just the fragile ego syndrome, FES. All right, let's go and get that next guest up here. If you're one of the 4.9 thousand people watching, appreciate you for being here. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Here we go. What's going on, Cameron? How old are you? And Cameron left. Moving on. All right. If you're one of the 4.9 thousand people watching and you do support the Trump administration, let me know down below. And Cody, I do appreciate you for the $5 donation over on Venmo saying happy Monday to all, even to the radical left lunatic. Yo, I just got a $5 donation from Trump. Holy shit. All right. Who's next? Okay. So I think that right now we're trying to dictate how we want to do these debates. So that last debate, super cutthroat, basically saying that if I critique a view, you have to either respond to the refutation or concede. Super cutthroat, hold the hard line. Now we're gonna try a little bit of a different approach. We're gonna find the healthy medium of maybe giving them some grace to pivot and kind of finagle themselves out of these hard corners, logically speaking, just to find the best way to hold these conversations. What's up, Andy? How old are you?
I am 21.
21. Do you support the Trump administration?
I do.
Why is that?
I would like to say that the biggest reason is the most controversial, and it is surrounding the tariffs. I wanted to open it by saying that I know it is a long shot, and quite frankly, right now it's not working. But I do see one positive, and that's the more that we are having to pay high prices for out-of-country goods, the more that it'll support American-made businesses to flourish. At least that's where I see things going. And
yeah, why do you see things going there? Because obviously that's not true right now. American-made businesses can't flourish in a recession.
You're right. Right now it is not true, and it is not working. But where I see it going is as those importing businesses start to go down, we're going to need more American-made products alone, which are going to be just... Which I'm trying to think of a company that would be a good example.
Well, I mean, my request is, can you give me like a sound economic justification that eventually things will turn around?
I think the biggest one is after going to college for business, there's always going to be a need for something. And the need right now is to simply get those American-made businesses a way to have access to those things that are just too expensive right now. Well,
you understand that a lot of American-made businesses also import the raw materials that they use to create their products from other countries, meaning that products made by American businesses will become more expensive, as well as a lot of businesses export their goods to other countries. And when we're exporting our goods to other countries in the middle of a trade war with every other country on Earth, our exports go down. And I mean, like, these are some of the reasons why we see an official projection by JP Morgan for a recession this year and one financial quarter under our belt of negative GDP growth after 4% growth was projected. Like, at the end of the day, man, these tariffs are only hurting America. America's heading in a bad direction. These tariffs are going to hurt Americans and American companies. We have no reason to believe that things will turn around. It is merely speculative. It is a Hail Mary predicated on the back of a recession that hurts Americans. And the big issue here is this is just as conspiratorial as denying the efficacy of vaccines, saying the earth is flat, or saying that Bush did 9/11.
As of right now, you're completely right.
Okay, so you admit that the only reason, so you admit that You literally use conspiracy theory to justify your support for the administration that is actively fascist, actively infringing upon humans' constitutional rights, actively attempting to consolidate power to the executive branch of government, actively hurting the economy, actively redistributing wealth from the poor to the rich. I'd say that's a fundamentally flawed worldview.
You on it? Everything that I learned suggests that, I mean, in every type of business, so long as it's run correctly, there's a recession that follows a big and substantial growth. Sorry, I'm getting over a concussion. But with that being said, it's like you can't just expect zero businesses or zero people to expand on an opportunity to bring things in for a better price than what China's able to do. Because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the biggest trade that we're having issue with is through importing with China specifically. Am I wrong there?
What's the claim?
That the majority of the issue is that China gives us the majority of our goods, more goods than just about anything any other country does, right?
Yeah, they're like our main importer.
Exactly, which is really just going to be leading us to having to find other sources, which
actually no, that's not even true. They're they're third largest import.
Really, they are.
Yeah, the top two suppliers are Mexico and Canada.
Fair enough. I know we did raise on Canada as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Pretty sure we went up. Oh shoot, I know that one was a big one
And on
too.
Mexico.
Yeah. That one's more common. But with those being our top three, those are all resources from countries that we can get imported from other places.
Why would we do that?
I mean, it would help out relations, and it would also give us
help relations. No, it hurts relations.
How so?
Yeah, now like Canada, with the announcement of Donald Trump's tariffs on them, announced like retaliatory tariffs specifically designed to target red states, as well as one of their directors specifically as it relates to energy said that they may just stop supplying all energy to our country, and then Canada then started boycotting all American good. And then liberals, who were originally down like 20 points in their general election, end up winning because of an anti-Trump sentiment. Like, I don't think that this really helps relations too much.
Oh, no, I was meaning with other countries, not the ones that we are, like, putting these tariffs on. And
Donald Trump put tariffs on every other country in the world apart from Russia. So you're saying that we're going to grow distant from every other country on the face of this planet, but grow closer to Russia?
I mean, in all reality, when it comes to world power, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
So that actually is one of the worst things that any president could ever do. One of the worst things in the world, yeah.
Is trying to get a little bit
trying to distance from every country on the face of planet Earth outside of Russia, who's ran by a mad lunatic dictator who's killing innocent people and ethnically cleansing another country. Yeah, arguably that is one of the worst things a president could do.
Sure, I feel like you're twisting. I mean, I understand that I'm being way too vague, but I definitely feel like you're twisting some things.
Like what?
I was not saying the distance from every other country. I was more talking about, so the main people that we have imposed incredibly large tariffs to, if we distance ourselves from them, and understandably, we did increase on everyone, like you mentioned.
Why should we distance ourselves from Mexico and Canada?
Oh, no, I was mostly just talking about China.
Mexico and Canada import more goods into America than China.
I know. You covered that.
And you just said that we need to distance ourselves from the largest importers. So why do we need to distance ourselves from China, but not Mexico and Canada?
Well, Canada, we've been messing up our relationships with ever since Trump got into office. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking when he was trying to invite Canada to join us. But the biggest one that I feel like we should distance from is really just China.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, outside of, and we are nowhere near in a point to really judge, but there's just a lot of unethical ways that things are being built. Like, I mean, we can look at Nike. They are underpaying people there for things that should not be underpaid for.
Okay, so basically immoral means of production, right?
Producing.
Yeah,
So
so
not
I'm actually fine with targeted tariffs on companies that exploit immoral means of production in order to create goods, right? However, it's worth pointing out that like Trump's goal with placing tariffs on China is to get them to reduce their tariffs on us, so we could achieve like apparently a freer trade agreement, which would only bring us closer to China, allowing them to import and export more goods at higher rates as they'd be paying less to do so. So seemingly, like even Trump's goals are antithetical to what you want.
Yeah, but he's also doing it in a way that's just not directly working, because I guess my main point
So
is
you're
he
basically
should
saying that
be
Donald Trump's plan is something that you don't want, but it's not working, so therefore you do like it.
no. I just want it to be used a little bit differently, where it should be towards the businesses getting the tariffs, not the country as a whole, because that would, I
That doesn't
feel
make any
like,
sense.
do how?
What? I just don't understand what you just said.
Well, if you're taxing the companies in specific that are doing the imports, like, well, I guess our soy kind of just got fucked. No, sorry.
Are you saying like targeted tariffs over blanket tariffs?
Yes.
Yeah. Targeted tariffs on China are significantly more preferable to blanket tariffs on China. Yeah, I agree. But Donald Trump's doing blanket tariffs. It's one of the reasons why I say it's bad.
Agreed. I guess.
Agreed?
What actually? Can I know?
Well, I mean, Andy, I did want to clarify that you came here saying that you support him because of his tariffs, and now seemingly like you're agreeing that they're bad.
Well, it's because there is a lot of fault, but at the end of it, I do see it being a good thing.
Okay, why?
But right now, yeah, no, it is horrible.
So why do you see it being a good thing?
Because, like I mentioned in the beginning, that it will, like you said, it is a Hail Mary. It is not guaranteed to work, but there is still a chance that that can make everything else flourish higher than it has been in a while.
A chance.
When it comes,
Sir,
yeah,
Sir, would you ever play Russian roulette?
it depends on the stake.
The stake is, I don't know, not much, maybe a little bit.
$10 and a McChicken, and I'll do it.
Okay, obviously, like you're being satirical, and that like that's something that you wouldn't do, right?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
Right. And would you say it's even worse to like force like every American to play Russian roulette?
Yes,
Okay.
I could agree with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're basically saying that Donald Trump's plan is a game of Russian roulette for all Americans. Because you do understand, like, the significantly higher probability of what the outcome of his tariff policy will be is a redistribution of wealth from the poor to the rich, increasing income inequities and decreasing the average quality of life for the average American. That source is coming from the Institute on Taxation and Economics. They project that every American making under $395,000 per year will have a lower level of purchasing power than they did before.
Just before I head out, because honestly, I have a lot more stuff to look at now. Can I just, with your own knowledge and what you've looked at, can I know what Kamala would have done differently? Because I did not look into her, or Kamala, sorry.
No worries.
Can I know what she would have done to improve trade relations and specifically help the dollar be, the real powerful dollar that it always should have been?
Yeah, insofar as improving trade relations, I actually don't know if they had any policy to do that, which I could like admit is a bad thing. I wish that we could like try to achieve better trade agreements with every other country on the face of the planet. Is the outcome of better trade relations, but insofar as her policy related to the domestic production of goods, I mean that was there. She, for instance, under the Biden administration, subsidized chip producers in America to bump their own production and further incentivize both private and public funding for American manufacturers. That's why we experienced a massive boom in investment into American manufacturing under their administration, which has gone stagnant since the beginning of Trump's.
Okay. And I looked very vaguely into it, but can you educate me a little bit more on the housing plans for first-time homeowners and family homeowners?
Yeah, sure. She just wanted to give first-time home buyers $25,000 for free if they were to buy a new home. That was going to increase demand while making the houses cheaper in consideration of the subsidy, which would have thereby incentivized more housing developers to go out there and make new houses. So the long-term goal was to increase supply.
Yeah, and the one thing that is another controversial topic that of course, I don't do a bunch of digging, but I do think Trump has been helping relations with, wars and different things going on, helping assist ceasefires and things along that route.
Name one ceasefire he's been able to achieve.
He was able to aid the Russian and Ukrainian one to at least go down. It's not a signed ceasefire. It has not been ended by any means. But he's definitely lowered tensions. And then, I'd have to go back to it.
Okay,
But,
so as you just said it, they don't have a ceasefire. So you said that he's helped with ceasefires. So name a ceasefire that he's been able to achieve. Three hours ago, from Al Jazeera, Ukraine says Russia launches barrage of drones amid calls for truce. EU leaders demand Russia accept Ukraine ceasefire by end of day. Ukraine says Russia is completely ignoring ceasefire call. Russia responds to ceasefire call with drone attacks. Ukraine works with Europe to ready new Russia sanctions after no ceasefire. 11 minutes ago. He left. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next guest. If you're Maga, let me know down below in that chat. We will get you up here for a conversation. Quite frankly, that's the truth. Everybody, just give us a minute to get that next guest up in the live. All right. Moving on. Quite frankly, yeah, dude. Putin's not accepting a ceasefire. Who could have guessed? Truly, who could have guessed? I could have guessed. Hello. Do you support Trump? Hello. We're going to give you 5 seconds here to respond. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Not here, quite frankly. Moving on to the next guest, Bruce. Everyone give us a minute to get Bruce connected. Hello, Bruce. How old are you?
24.
24. Do you support Champ?
Yes, I do.
Okay, before we hop into our debate, I'm going to go live on YouTube. Give me one moment, Bruce. Hello and welcome to everybody tuning into the YouTube stream. It's good to have you in here with us today. We have over 100 Trump supporters lined up to have a conversation with about their support for the administration. In fact, we already have our first Trump supporter, Mr. Bruce, on the line. So, Mr. B, take it away. Tell us why you support the current administration. Actually,
Cool.
I take that back. Can I ask you a question?
Well, this is why.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
I
I got plenty of shit, too.
Oh, wait. Actually, no. Let's talk about this. So I want you to read that off for us.
Yeah, so India-Pakistan ceasefire appears to hold after accusations of violations. So it sounds like liberals were accusing that it wasn't holding, but this was posted. When was this posted? 12 hours ago.
Hey, man, do you think that the Trump administration had any involvement with the achievement of a ceasefire between India and Pakistan?
Absolutely.
So J.D. Vance is quoted as saying, and I quote, that the U.S. has fundamentally no involvement with India and
Yeah,
Pakistan.
we don't want to get involved in the war. Absolutely.
Yeah, so they had no involvement in the ceasefire.
No, they have involvement in the ceasefire.
J.D. Vance said they didn't.
No, he said we don't want to get involved in the war, and so did Trump.
What was their involvement in achieving that ceasefire?
You want me to pull up that video? Would you like me to?
What was America's involvement in the India-Pakistan ceasefire?
To sanction them if they continue what they're doing.
To
And
sanction
that's what
who?
happened.
Not
That's
obviously not sanction India. Wasn't Trump just boasting about achieving a totally free trade agreement with India?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Wasn't Trump just boasting about achieving a totally free trade agreement with India?
Yeah, what was that before?
Seemingly, that's like the opposite of a sanction.
Was that before this war?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know too much about India and Pakistan, but
Okay.
what I do know is that that's been an achievement boasted by Trump.
that
Can you
was
show me where Trump has made a statement about wanting to sanction India if they don't let
Yeah,
off
so
Pakistan?
that was before this war. But yeah, once they went to war, they said you're going to be heavily sanctioned if you continue this bloodshed.
Okay, for you. I just personally haven't seen that. Could you show that quote to me?
Yeah. Yeah. I can look everything up for you, actually.
Okay, great.
I actually got everything actually up here for you. I got gas prices. You guys like to talk shit on that. I got the prescription. I don't know how you guys can talk shit on the.
Yeah, so can you just show me where he said that he was going to heavily sanction them?
Yeah. So I'll just go to Google here, handy dandy Google. And I'll type it in. Did Trump threaten sanctions on India and Pakistan to stop war and create ceasefire? Yes. According to recent reports, Donald Trump claimed he threatened to cut off trade with India and Pakistan to force a ceasefire and stop a potential nuclear conflict.
So you're reading an AI overview on Google. Can you give me the source?
You know what's crazy? That all these AI, whatever you just called it, AI, what would you call it?
An AI overview?
Yeah, so all these AI overviews have sources connected to them.
So then what is it?
Here, we can click on these. You want to watch a video?
Before we begin, let me say a few words about the historic events that took place over
Isn't this the guy who can't speak, or was that Biden? Sorry.
the last few days.
So I think it's Trump.
On Saturday, my administration helped broker a full
Do you see a teleprompter anywhere, by the way? No, you don't.
and immediate ceasefire, I think a permanent one, between India and Pakistan, ending a dangerous conflict of two nations with lots of nuclear weapons. And they were going at it hot and heavy, and it was seemingly not going to stop. And I'm very proud to let you know that the leadership of India and Pakistan was unwavering, powerful, but unwavering in both cases. Having these, they really were, from the standpoint of having the strength and the wisdom and fortitude to fully know and to understand the gravity of the situation. And we helped a lot. And also with trade, I said, come on, we're going to do a lot of trade with you guys. Let's stop it. Let's stop it. If you stop it, we're doing trade. If you don't stop it, we're not going to do any trade. People have never really used trade
So what's that mean when you're not going to do any trade with someone if you don't stop a conflict?
the way I used it. That I can tell you. And all of
Maybe Biden should take a page out of Trump's playbook, and maybe we wouldn't be in this mess with Russia and Ukraine.
Biden, one second.
Biden's
Whoa.
a
Hey,
is an
Bruce.
idiot.
Did you know that Biden announced and held sanctions on Russia throughout the entirety of his administration?
Yeah, obviously it didn't work.
Well, okay, so if sanctions would work or not work on Russia, why are we expected to believe that an apparent threat of sanctions that we have no proof of, that is only spoken about for less than 2 sentences after the fact by Trump, who told over 30,000 confirmed lies during his first presidency, alongside the biggest lie ever told by a president with his denial of the outcome of 2020, would work in less than 48 hours?
People don't respect Biden, simply. You can't speak a simple sentence.
World leaders have a significant higher amount of respect for Biden and Kamala Harris than they have for Trump.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, my evidence of this is
Why do you believe that?
Yeah, that we've seen a UN Rights Council seeing that for Biden or Harris. We've leaked Kremlin documents from Putin where he calls Trump easy to manipulate. Never seen that about Biden or Harris. We've also seen other world leaders,
Wait.
Donald Tusk or
say?
Macron of France, posting videos laughing at Donald Trump on Twitter. Never seen them do that to Biden or Harris.
I've never seen any of those videos. I've seen people literally put all eyes on Trump, and people completely ignore Biden and Kamala Harris. That's what I've seen.
All eyes on Trump and ignore Harris? Well, I mean, yeah, definitely everybody has eyes on the president of America. I don't understand what this means.
Yeah. What it means is a previous president couldn't form an articulate sentence.
Start your career. The previous president couldn't form an articulate sentence. Okay, here's how I feel about this. So first and foremost, Biden.
That's why he got kicked out of.
Hey, Bruce, do you mind if you let me speak here, man? I'd really appreciate it if you allow me to respond to what you said. Is that fair?
Sure.
Thank you so much, Bruce. I appreciate that. So first and foremost, I think that it's worth denoting that Biden didn't end up running. Kamala Harris did. Kamala Harris was significantly more coherent than Trump. That's an undeniable fact. Second claim is that although Biden was a little bit incoherent because of his older age, I'll take the old man that's a little bit incoherent, that is good policy, that is beneficial for the American people, over the old man that is completely delusional, that can't distinguish between what's true and false, that is an active fascist, that wants to consolidate power to one branch of government, wants to ignore courts, including the Supreme Court, that passes policy that's detrimental for the American people. You know, it's like your biggest critique of Biden is his stutter. My biggest critique of Trump is the fact that he's a 34-count felon, adjudicated rapist, that is deploying all 14 tenets of fascism and actively redistributing wealth from the poor to the rich.
So you said a lot there. You guys project a lot on your side. Said we're going to see empty shelves and crazy inflation. Only time I saw that was with Biden. You say 34 felonies for hush money for paying a girl who he had sexual things with to be quiet because he's in an election that happened 2 years before that election. So why would she wait until election time to speak about it? Obviously, because she wanted money out of him. Yeah, I got no problem with Trump. Trump is a much better president. And I got more facts if you want to back it up. But I can also show this video of Biden about stuttering.
Bruce, do you mind if I ask you what your obsession with Biden is?
Well,
like,
yeah,
Biden didn't even end up running for the presidency.
President for 4 years. And
I have an idea. Can I respond to the last three claims?
Maybe it's because I got fucked with average gas prices.
Hey,
for
Bruce,
like years.
I want to respond to one thing that you just said there. Are you ready?
Average $6.
So you said
that's why I don't
like
like
Bruce,
Biden.
I would really appreciate it if you'd let me ask you two questions.
Well, you asked me the question. What do I have infatuated with Biden?
For sure,
right
I'm gonna ask you two follow-up questions because that's how a debate works.
Well, ask one at a time.
Earlier, you said that Biden caused inflation. How did Biden cause inflation? And now you're saying that Biden caused higher gas prices. How did Biden cause higher gas prices?
So we're going to do one at a time. So which one do you want to do first?
Well, I mean, increasing gas prices can be defined as inflation.
All right. Well, I guess we can just do the inflation thing first. So when you tell a whole country to shut down and don't allow small businesses to thrive and keep people in the mindset of staying unemployed and collecting a check and, further pushing this C-19 thing that didn't have to be pushed, we should have opened the economy. That's how inflation goes up. On top of funding a $350 billion, which is probably pretty minuscule, but expecting nothing back. By the way, Trump got a rare minerals deal. To get our money back. That was
you could
stolen.
talk about the rare minerals deal next. I want you to specifically tell me how Biden caused inflation.
So I just did.
Okay, so your claim is that
I'm just naming shit off for you.
So your claim is that Biden caused inflation by having the whole country shut down. Business shutdowns caused by the pandemic were under Trump in 2020 and 2021.
And that was a start, yeah. And that was a start of it. But to continue it for the next 2 years was bullshit.
No, they didn't continue for the next 2 years. In fact, by the time Biden had gained the presidency.
Do you mind
if you let me speak? I'd really appreciate it.
No, you've been speaking this whole time.
No, in fact, I haven't been speaking this whole time, Bruce. I'm disproving you. You're mad about that. So I would if you want to have a debate, then you have to be able to let me respond to your claims. I'd really appreciate it.
You're still probably taking some online classes at some point.
So this is what we call a pivot, Bruce. Hey, man, I understand that you're freaking out because you're losing a debate.
This is not.
I'm going to have to put you on mute.
This is not a pivot. Of course you're going to put me on mute.
I'm asking you if I have to. I won't put you on mute if you just let me speak.
You won't let my point come across. That's why. Because you don't like my point. Because it completely abolishes whatever you got to say.
So you're making a claim about me in college. I don't understand how that relates to your claim that Biden
well, maybe you're not thinking straight. My original claim.
So I'm ready, Bruce. I'm going to go ahead and ask you.
Yeah. My original claim is when you promote people to not work and stay online and stay home.
Elijah, thank you for
not go to actual work and collect unemployment. That's how the economy crashes, and that's what Biden did. You want me to pull that up? About him saying isolate.
I already have.
Should I pull up how he said isolate in your homes and don't go to work and don't spread COVID?
Bruce, let me know when you're done grandstanding.
Okay, so give me about 20 seconds and I'll be finished. So when Biden said isolate, when he said don't go to work, when he said stop the spread, even though Dr. Anthony Fauci said masks do nothing, social distancing does nothing, in his 4-hour interview in late 2024, that was all bullshit. That was pushed by this dude here to close down our economy for years. That's how inflation started.
Okay, just let me know when I could respond.
No, I'm done.
Sweet. So actually, what you're saying about jobs, unemployment, and jobs added to the economy under Biden's administration is demonstrably false, and that's the issue with your argument. You could happily go to Google, type in unemployment rate in America, FRED, click on the
Here's the
first link.
inflation rate, bud. Even better.
Bruce, am I going to have to mute you?
No.
Okay, then I'm going to ask you to not interrupt me while I speak, the same way I just allowed you to finish. Seriously, act your age, man. So now I'm going to have to restart, Bruce. I want you to listen closely to what I'm saying. Are you ready to listen closely to what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So you're saying that the Biden administration caused inflation in America by reducing employment and keeping people out of their work. That claim is simply not true. In fact, at the peak of the pandemic, business shutdowns were ushered under Donald Trump's administration.
Beginning.
In April, Bruce, I'm going to put you on mute now. You are now muted, and you are expected to listen until I'm finished speaking. The peak of business shutdowns caused by the pandemic were under Donald Trump's administration in April of 2020 at 14.8%. And then guess what? When Biden got into office in January of 2021, unemployment was at 6.1%. And then a mere year later, we then had 50-year record low levels of unemployment at 3.4%,
Everyone had to work 3
beating
jobs.
any low level of unemployment that was produced and or held under the Trump administration. So when you sit here and tell me that it was Biden who produced unemployment, and that is what caused inflation, we actually had the demonstrably fastest drops in unemployment that we've ever seen in this country. And a lot of that can be attributed to the bounce back from the pandemic, not to Biden. Okay, but your claim is that Biden kept the unemployment high. No, we had the demonstrably fastest drop in unemployment in America ever, as well as we had 2 50-year record lows, lower than what was ever observed under the Trump administration. And if your claim is that it's these business shutdowns in which ushered in inflation into America, well, then you'll have to say that the most inflation was ushered into this country under Trump's administration, caused by the highest level of unemployment we've seen in America since the Great Depression at 14.8% during April of 2020, with the only demonstrably higher point of unemployment existing in America at the peak of the Great Depression.
Are you done with your
Additionally,
monologue?
if we want to consider jobs added to the American economy by the presidents
Let's go.
ignoring COVID, Biden added more jobs month by month to the American economy, completely ignoring bounce back jobs from COVID, as well as completely ignoring the jobs lost by the pandemic under Trump's term. So I want to make it clear. So it's not a monologue. If you need me to draw this out on polka dot paper with a crayon, I'd be happy to.
So read this right here. In April 2025, 8.8 million people. This figure reached the highest level since the start of the pandemic, accounting to 5.4% had to work multiple jobs. So when inflation is through the roof, as you can see right here, with this graph right here, when inflation is through the roof, of course employment's going to be high, or you're going to die of starvation. So that whole monologue that you just spilled for 2 minutes was debunked in about fucking 15 seconds.
Wait, can you debunk it again? I'm not sure if you debunked it.
Yeah, so when people have to work multiple jobs, of course employment is going to go up.
How do you think the unemployment rate is calculated?
So let me finish.
No, tell me how you think the unemployment rate is
15 seconds,
calculated.
right? So the employment rate, they're working multiple jobs. And secondly, it's because the inflation, as you can see here from a very, very, very fucking credible source, was up your ass.
Hey, Bruce, how is the unemployment rate calculated?
They take the population of people who are able to work here in America and probably divide it by the people who are able to work who are working in America.
Okay, so you're almost right. It's actually the amount of unemployed individuals that are able to work divided by the total labor force, then of course multiplied by 100 to get the percentage. Now, the issue with this is you're telling me the reason why we had demonstrably low levels of unemployment in America under the Biden-Harris administration was because individuals were working multiple jobs. That implies if you're a person working more than one job,
That's what
then you
Google
account
says.
for. Bruce, you're telling me that that is somehow relevant to the calculation of the unemployment rate. It doesn't matter if somebody's working one job or 5 jobs, as long as they have a job and they're not unemployed. That is what is calculated insofar as the American unemployment rate. And then additionally, you actually didn't debunk what I said. You could just kind of explain jobs bouncing back from COVID. That's all.
Okay, so here's my
So
response.
once again, like no, Bruce, I'm almost
here's the
done.
response.
Like once again, like your claim was
You're
is that
muting,
he
but
kept
you
people.
can't do that.
Bruce, because I'm still speaking. Your claim is that Biden kept people unemployed.
Real life, but
Bruce, I'm still speaking. Your claim is that Biden kept people unemployed, right?
I want to respond to your first point right now.
We're just going to clear this up. Yes or no? Your claim is
Yeah,
that
I want to
Biden kept
clear it
people
up. Yes.
Bruce, so your claim, yes or no, is that Biden kept people unemployed, correct?
I'm not doing yes or no's.
Okay, well then leave. Because if you're not going to engage in my argument, you better go find another space. To
Well, you're
exist in
just,
an
you,
echo
you
chamber and
don't
will
actually want to have
pushback
an
from somebody
intellectual
else.
debate. You're not a
Bruce, that's you.
detailed type of
You're the
guy.
one that's denying to engage
You're
in
not a
conversation.
detailed type of guy, are you?
We don't need to be detailed when you're affirming or denying the
Yeah.
proposition of your claim.
So
It's just
I want to
simply exists in your argument.
respond to your original thing. Yeah.
I just want to, like, we're going to make this super simplistic because I want to make it incredibly clear. But you don't want to, okay, here's the issue with you, Bruce. You know that what you're talking is complete, total bullshit. And I want to make it incredibly clear to everybody listening that what you're saying is complete and total bullshit. And I can make it so clear with 3 questions. And the reason you want to answer the questions is because you don't want me to clarify. So I'll clarify it for you without the input of yourself. What I will simply ask you for is 30 seconds where you're not interrupted me so I could clarify it. Your original claim is that Biden kept unemployment high, and that is what caused inflation. I disproved the claim.
W. Bruce.
Bruce, are you
Legend Bruce.
So are you a legend? Are you a W?
I mean, that's what they're
Interrupting me while
saying.
I'm just
You won't even let me
symbolizing what
speak.
you're saying is wrong, and with 30 seconds,
Yeah, and you won't even let me respond to you. That's how scared you are.
you could respond in 30 seconds. That's all.
Yeah,
That's all,
absolutely.
Bruce. If you're winning the debate, how come you don't want me to be able to expose to
No,
everyone
I can
watching why what you're
respond
saying
in
is
20
wrong?
seconds. Yeah, I can
You have
hold
to
this
wait until
conversation.
I'm finished speaking so you know what to respond to. That's all, Bruce.
I already brought it up, and you never let me
No, of course.
respond.
I want to be able to make it incredibly clear. What
Oh,
I'm
it's so
saying.
clear. It's so
not,
clear.
It's,
You're
it's
just
not clear at
monologuing.
all, Bruce. I'm gonna need 30 seconds here,
You're
man. If you can't give me 30 seconds, it's because you don't want me to expose to everybody listening why you're wrong. You want to keep the W Bruces in the chat. That's why you don't want me to talk. That's it. Yeah, everybody. The reason why he doesn't want to let me talk is because he wants to keep the W Bruces in the chat. Give me 30 seconds, and then I'm going to let you be able to speak. Calm down and give me 30 seconds, Bruce. Your original claim is that Biden caused inflation by keeping unemployment in America high. I disprove the claim that Biden caused inflation by keeping unemployment in America high by demonstrating that unemployment actually reached 250-year lows under his administration, and we had the demonstrably quickest and fastest drops in the unemployment rate in America under his administration. And then you think that you exposed, debunked, and ridiculed this claim by merely arguing that a lot of the drop of the unemployment rate that we experienced under the Biden-Harris administration can be attributed to the pandemic, not to Biden. The reason that does not debunk my counter-argument is because A, I agree with you, and then B, you're still not rejecting that unemployment was not high. You're actually justifying why unemployment went low. So in fact, you're justifying a counter-argument to your own position.
To be honest, in all honesty, just wanted to respond to this unemployment that you said if someone works 5 jobs, it doesn't actually help the unemployment rate. Sure, yeah, I agree. But when people have been sitting on their ass collecting a check and now all of a sudden they got to go back to work, of course it's going to, and we're in a global pandemic, of course the unemployment rate is going to drop.
Yeah, you're justifying a counter-argument to your own position because you're the one that argued that Biden made it ensure that it didn't drop. Yeah, because you're the... Because
Okay.
you're the one that argued that Biden kept it high, but now you're justifying that it dropped.
What do you mean? He did keep it high
You just said that it dropped because of a bounce back from the pandemic.
because he finally had to open the economy at some point. We can't just stay closed. He kept it closed for 2 years.
Not true. It started dropping the day he walked into office. Search up unemployment rate Fred, U.S. You'll see that it demonstrably started dropping the day he walked into office.
It had to
January
be closed for a
2021,
certain point of time.
6.4%. Less than a year later, it was cut in half. You're lying.
I don't think you understand my main point here is that Donald Trump had to close it because it was the beginning of the pandemic. 8 months later, Joe Biden still kept it closed and continued to keep it closed years and years into his presidency and encouraged people to isolate, encouraged kids to wear a mask at school, even though they really don't want to. And it's not good for social, whatever's going on socially with the younger generation. And on top of that, most of these kids, and the reason I asked if you were in college is because you remember having to take asynchronous classes or classes on Zoom. That's why all that stuff I asked has exactly to do with my point.
Okay, the refutation to your point is that you're spreading misinformation. The day Biden walked into office was January of 2021. The unemployment rate on the day Biden walked into office was 6.4%. Your claim is that Biden kept that unemployment rate high for years following. However, that is not true. If you search up unemployment rate US FRED on Google, you will find a stark contrast to your claim. That is that the unemployment rate dropped in America subsequently every single month following January, the month of his inauguration, and less than a year and a half later, the unemployment rate had been cut in half, and we then experienced a 50-year low level rate of unemployment.
So
the
are
data
you
completely
bragging about
contradicts your
that?
claims.
Are you bragging that it got super high and then somehow it got? That's the same
I'm
way you
stating
guys.
that the data completely contradicts the claims that you're making. In
No,
fact,
it's
the
not.
unemployment rate only went lower in the first 2 years of his
I
administration.
mean, let's pull up the unemployment rate.
Do it.
So
Once again, search
here
up
it is.
FRED unemployment rate US.
So
America.
here's around where it should be, like down here, right? So for years, it was still way above this. So you're bragging about how it came down. It should come down. It should come down.
Right. And what
Okay.
you're showing is it coming down. Good job, Bruce.
It should. Yes, it should. It has to come down.
Right. So then you're just justifying once
How
again
many
that you're
years?
wrong.
How many years was this?
Because Bruce, like, remember, once again, your original claim is that it didn't go down.
So
it kept it
March
high, but now you're saying that
2020?
it went down because it had to go down.
March,
disproving
like
your
I
own
said, 2 years. 2 years for it to what's normal unemployment? Do you know? 4%.
Round 4.
So 2 years. It took 2 years.
Sir, what was the
That's
level?
why the economy for
Hey,
2
sir,
years.
I have a question. What was the level?
For 2 years, we didn't get back to normal
Hey,
unemployment.
Bruce, we just agreed that the normal level
That's
of
that's what I'm saying.
Hey, Bruce, your claim is that it took 2 years to get back to a normal level of unemployment. You
Right
defined-
here.
Bruce, you told us it took 2 years to get back to a normal level of unemployment, and then you claim that a normal level of unemployment was 4%. Can we agree that that Biden was inaugurated in January of 2021?
Yes, absolutely.
With the data on your screen, tell me what the level of unemployment was in January of 2022.
6.4
Nope, not true.
was 21.
What was 2022?
4%. So it took him a year, not 2. Wait, you're laughing? You think a year is good though? You think it takes a year? That's it. Okay.
Oh my God, Bruce.
All right. So
Oh
now
my
you're really
fucking
gonna look
God.
like a 14 because who dropped it at a faster rate?
Crystal, thank you so much for the nice star. I do appreciate it.
Looking
so much
at
for the
this
love.
graph,
I appreciate that.
who is dropping at a faster rate? So this is when Biden got into office. Right here, this slow, stagnant fucking line right here that slightly goes down. Who is dropping it at a faster rate?
So the
This
fast
was
rate
all
that you're
Trump.
referencing and the unemployment rate
This
before
was
Biden's
Trump right
inauguration
here.
was literally the reversal of business shutdowns.
So this was Trump dropping it at a very fast rate
That
compared
was
to
the
Biden.
reversal of business shutdowns. I wouldn't expect
This
anything
is
different.
Biden. What looks like a faster drop to you?
The fastest drop was immediately experienced after the reversal of business shutdowns.
Well, I see it as you said January, right? January 21? Or let's just do literally when he was president-elect. It
Wait,
literally
I have a question.
started
just looking at the graph on your screen, do you think the majority of inflation experienced in America was a result of the highest level of unemployment that was caused by the pandemic under Donald Trump's administration?
let's not pivot here real quick
No,
because
this isn't a pivot, Bruce.
I want to do this
original,
real quick.
Bruce, your original claim was that Biden caused
Well, now
inflation.
you're pivoting because I want to hit this first and then
Bruce,
we can pivot.
I'm not.
I want to hit this first.
I'm sorry, I'm muting you because you're just yelling. You're pivoting. But I'm not.
Well,
pivoting.
no, I just want to finish this first and then
Bruce, your first
talk about a
Bruce,
different thing.
This is not a different thing. Hearts, I appreciate you with Galaxy. You're
Yeah,
starting.
well, I want to go over this specific topic
Bruce,
before we move on.
we are going over this specific topic. You're really starting to annoy me, Bruce. If you would just let me speak. Your claim is that Biden caused inflation by unemployment. So in other words, you're saying that unemployment equals inflation, right?
Partly.
Okay. Well,
I named 4 or 5 other things.
Actually, first and foremost, unemployment actually equals deflation. I'll explain how. Okay. The reason unemployment equals deflation is because inflation is when the equilibrium price of a good goes up, with the equilibrium price of a good being controlled by supply and demand.
Yeah, and
there's a significantly lower level of demand.
You're leaving something out, though, Dean.
Bruce,
it's very important for the average person.
Allow me to finish
understand.
speaking.
No, because you're very manipulative.
Okay, if you're not going to allow me to finish speaking, I'm going to force you to allow me to finish speaking.
First.
We'll wait. We'll wait for Bruce. We'll wait for him to finish his thing. I don't know. Let him finish his tantrum, everybody. Yeah, I am. Because you're interrupting me. That's all. It's pretty simple. Let him finish the thing. Yeah, good thing this isn't real life. It'd be a lot more annoying if it couldn't be you. It would be significantly more annoying if we were talking in person, because then I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to forcefully assert boundaries. You're right. How long is he going to keep it up?
Oh.
Bruce, the reason why I'm doing this is because I was in the middle of explaining how you were wrong once it was my turn to have the mic, and then you cut me off 4 words in. We'll wait till the tantrum finishes. I don't know, guys. We'll maybe give it like another 30 seconds for the tantrum to finish. And if the tantrum doesn't finish in the next 30 seconds, you're right, Bruce. In a debate, you don't interrupt people when they've allowed you to speak, and then they get the mic. That's all.
Good debate.
We'll wait. Good job. That was actually pretty clean, Bruce. Okay, a lot of people in the chat are spamming Discord. What's going on in the Discord? At Dean, he follows really young children and posts videos of his dogs fucking. Do you follow really young children? Do you follow really young children and post videos of your dogs fucking?
Go look at my profile of my dogs fucking. I have 2 female dogs. Are you fucking stupid? And 2 females fuck. And yeah, in my bio, it literally says follow for follow. So no, I don't really look at the age of whom I'm following. I just follow random fucking people. It's pretty simple.
That is a little girl. Goodbye. Moving on to the next guess.
Hello?
So anyways, you asked if 2 females can engage in intercourse. The answer to your question is yes. Okay. And I bet you make a lot of people happy that 2 females can engage in intercourse. You make a lot of people really happy that they can do that. Yeah, that's true. Hello, Destin. How old are you?
I'm 21.
21. Do you support the Maga administration?
I mean, I'm
I support both institutions, but this past election I voted for Trump, yes.
Okay, phenomenal. Before we get into our debate, I got a couple people to thank here. Cass, thank you for the $13 super chat over on YouTube. Cass says, you inspire me to challenge my MAGA family. Let's go, Cass. That's awesome. Everybody show some love to Cass down below in the chat for the $13, as well as Jesus with a $5 over on YouTube super chat, Traceless with a 10, Danessa with a 5, and Biblis with a 5, as well as Pickle Tickler, what a name, with a $30 super chat over on YouTube saying, go get yourself a pizza, Dean, after this MAGA. I'll eat some pizza tonight. I want to see 300 pickled W's down below in the comment section for the $30 donation. Thank you so much for the love, Pickles. Let's go, dude. As well as Jesse with a $5 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Jesse. That is incredibly kind of you. And oh my God, Sarah with a $250 donation on PayPal. Oh my God, Sarah, dude, I want to get 15 minutes of W Sarahs down below in all of the live chats right now. Oh my God, thank you so much, Sarah. That is so much fucking money. I do not deserve that. Everybody, seriously, please show some love to Sarah in the TikTok chat, in the YouTube chat right the fuck now. Thank you so much for the love, Sarah. What the fuck? As well as Marianne with the $50 super chat over on YouTube. Let's show some love to Sarah and Marianne down below in that comment section right now. Holy W's, holy base, Sarah and Marianne. Thank you both so much. That is insane. That is literally so kind, guys. Thank you so much for the love. Shout out and so much love to Sarah and Marianne. Thank you guys so much for the love. Dustin, while we're all showing love to Sarah and Marianne, take it away. Tell us why you support the Trump administration.
Well, it's kind of simple. I grew up largely raised around Democrats. My grandmother ran the Democrat chair in the city and county we're in. She ran for office in Democrat, and when people like you say that illegals can't vote, illegals aren't allowed to vote, I strongly disagree because I've watched Democrats, registered illegal immigrants, to vote. And I will tell you how they do it. Very easily. They walk up to these houses and they'll say, hey, would you like to vote in the next election? Mary Sue, who lives in this house, says, yeah, sure. Okay. Are you a U.S. citizen? No? Okay, that's not an issue. We'll get that figured out. I want you to fill out your name, your address. They take the application back. 6 to 8 months later, their absentee ballot gets sent to the house. Their person that registers them goes, picks up the absentee ballot, fills it out, submits it.
So did you know that what you're describing is not only incredibly illegal because of a bill passed through Congress in 1994, but also incredibly irregular, atypical, and unlikely to occur? So this follows as a result of the 2020 election. There was 8.2 million registered voters in Georgia, and guess how many of those registered voters were undocumented migrants that cast a ballot?
Well, that's Georgia. I'm talking about Indiana.
Just guess for Georgia.
I would assume none with the very specific state.
9. What about Iowa's 2.3 million voters? How many of those do you think were self-reported, not even confirmed via the absence of citizenship, but merely self-reported non-citizens?
But will you say, because this
can you answer my question? I promise. I'm going somewhere with this.
I don't look at the charts, but you're claiming that
so out of the 2.3 million voters in Iowa,
you're claiming that it never happens. Let me finish my point. Is gravely untrue, because I know it doesn't just happen in my county in Indiana. It happens in neighboring counties, clear up into Indianapolis where it happens.
Okay, Dustin. So my claim is not that it never happens. My claim is that they can't vote. can't be an index to it's illegal for them to vote, right? Do people sometimes break the law?
Well, yeah, every single one of them that came into the country illegally did.
So people do sometimes break the law. Got it. So as it relates to non-citizens voting in elections, we'll be able to find maybe, I don't know, less than 300 instances of that happening in a federal election, which includes 150 million people. Like, for instance, in Georgia, there was 20 non-citizens registered to vote, 9 that actually cast ballots. In Iowa, it's 2.3 million voters. 87 of them were self-reported as non-citizens. And I'd say that these irregularities account to absolutely nothing. They're completely meaningless, and it's been illegal since the 90s. And if your claim is that Donald Trump is going to fix this, what is he going to do? Make it illegal again? Are they just going to stop breaking the law? That's the thing. That's the thing, Dustin, is that you want to perpetuate this myth that undocumented migrants. Dustin, I'd appreciate it if you'd listen to me.
I am listening, but you're calling it a myth. I'm telling you, personal experience, it happens.
I'm telling you that what is a myth is the issue of non-citizens voting and that having any calculatable outcome on any calculatable impact on the outcome of an election. You know, it's like a bigger issue than like 9 people out of 8.7 million people in one state.
Okay, but what I'm saying is
cast a vote. Do you want to know what the bigger issue is? And by the way, I want to clarify, all those ballots were caught by audits. I want to clarify, every single one of those ballots was caught by an audit.
I'm not worried about a federal election, but whenever you're looking at local communities, whenever you live in a city like I do, where I would say well over 50% of legal registered voters are Republican, and we've had a Democrat for the past 12 years.
Would you please turn off your Bluetooth? You're talking to me through a car, headset, or something other than your phone, and it's very low quality.
But whenever you look at that scheme of things, whenever your county chairs are being influenced...
This wouldn't even have an impact. 9 people out of 8.7 million registered voters in the state of Georgia, that's not going to have an impact on election at any level.
I'm not talking about Georgia. I'm talking about in my specific area.
Okay, so then specifically show me an audit that would demonstrate that's true.
They're not being caught on audit. My entire county...
So then how do you know that it's happening? Because why would they be caught on audit on every single state apart from Indiana that is a red state? Why would one red state not catch these individuals on audits, but then blue states would?
My county is specifically controlled by Democrats.
Okay, so then give me an audit which would demonstrate how many
they hold the most share. They have covered it up. 100%. You laugh. When did you get into politics? Because I've been around it my entire life.
Do you know what a conspiracy theory is?
It's not a conspiracy theory whenever you lived it, bro.
What's a conspiracy theory?
It's not a conspiracy theory whenever you lived it. It's something that's
Can you tell me what a conspiracy theory is?
It's something that hinges on very low facts. But
okay, I'm curious, what are the facts to justify your claim?
The fact I live it. If I wanted to be a dick, I could...
Saying that you lived it is not a fact.
I could name off every city councilman and every county councilman that I have walked with, handing out literature, handing out signs, who have all said this. Nice vape, by the way.
It's not a fucking vape. It's an anxiety pin.
Yeah, my girlfriend says the same thing about her vape, too.
Well, she's a liar and I'm not.
I mean, nicotine does tend to help with
anxiety. It's not. Calm down.
But with that being said, I can turn to another fact of my entire life. I was born under a Republican.
Can you give me a single source from the internet that would indicate an issue of undocumented migrants voting in Indiana?
I'm telling you, they're not being caught. Just because you can find cases of them being caught,
if they're
every state is auditing them.
If they're not being caught, then how do you know that's happening?
Let me ask. Those 9 that got caught, what election were they caught in?
The 2020 general. Now answer my question.
Oh,
if they're not
okay,
being
so
caught, what evidence do you have of it happening? It kind of just sounds like it's being hinged on it. Trust me, bro.
Fine. If you want to take it that way, I don't have any physical evidence. But what I'm saying is, I can give you the councilman. I can go pull my grandmother who is.
So what's the evidence from the councilman?
Done it. Huh?
What's the evidence from the councilman?
The fact that I've walked with him and I've done it. He's told he
Did what specifically? Explain to me
he has
specifically
walked
what you've
up,
done that proves that undocumented migrants.
he has walked up to people and filled out their absentee ballots and filled out their voter registration forms for them.
Voter registration forms. Voter registration form, Indiana. Let's see. Secretary of State, voter registration information, register to vote. You have a right to vote in Indiana if you are both a U.S. citizen and a resident of Indiana. So seemingly, in order to be registered to vote in Indiana, you have to prove citizenship via an SSN. So actually, no, you've not walked with anybody that has filled out a voter registration form for an undocumented migrant. Why are you lying?
I'm not. I've walked with them. They have said, "Do you want to vote?" Yes. Okay. Put your name, your first and last name, and your address on here. We will take it back and we'll fill out the rest of it.
Let's see here. Middle name, middle initial. So I actually have the voter registration form for Indiana pulled up on my state. You could find this on the Indiana Secretary of State Diego Morales' website. It's ian.gov. To find it, you just have to go to ian.gov and type in voter registration. It'll be the first thing that pops up. It looks like you have to give... one of the questions is literally, are you a citizen of America?
Okay, and like you said...
And then another question is, are you at least 18 years old? And then another question is, what is your social security number or driver's license number? So that's actually not true. So you have to prove that you're a citizen by either giving your social security number or your driver's license number.
Okay, so what I'm saying is I know for a fact they've done it. I've sat down with
So I just want to clarify. Your claim is that there's
walked
people
with me.
So then actually it's your councilman that has conducted voter fraud. If what you're saying is true.
No, I said former.
So you had a former councilman that was conducting voter fraud.
Whenever he served in the early 90s, before he retired, he has sat down and told me. He has sat down with my grandmother and me, and we have talked about his entire career.
So at the end of the day, it was actually a U.S. citizen that was doing the voter fraud.
Okay, your point is what?
My point is that therefore your claim that undocumented migrants are committing voter fraud is not true.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the Democrat Party has perpetuated the fact that they are letting illegal immigrants register.
Actually, I want you to give me a single Democrat representative from across America that has been arrested, charged with, and found guilty of voter fraud insofar as allowing undocumented
talking
migrants
about
to
all
register to
America.
vote. Because you want to know something. Because you want to know something really fucking funny, Dustin. You know, my local congresswoman here in Grand Junction, Colorado, from Mesa County, was arrested and charged with voter fraud insofar as attempting to rig the outcome of the election in 2020 for Trump.
Okay, but
that's a
what
Republican. So can you give me the name of a Democrat congressman or woman that has been arrested, charged, and found guilty of voter fraud insofar as aiding and abetting in the registration of undocumented migrants?
I don't know. I'm not on this shit. But whenever you
So then your claim's false.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It is false.
If it was false, I want to get on here.
I think that right now you're lying. I'm sorry, Dustin. I think that you were coming up here and you're literally lying.
I swear on a holy fucking Bible that I ain't lying.
And so then show me the name of one Democrat congressman or woman that has been arrested for, charged with, and convicted of, committing voter fraud and registering undocumented migrant voters. Because they don't fucking exist. So your claim that Democrats are perpetuating a notion of registering undocumented migrants,
in my county in Madison,
to register is not true.
In Madison County, Indiana, whenever you walk into the Democrat headquarters, I can name every single one of them that have sit down in my living room and said, "Hey, you remember whenever we did this?" Or I've asked them, "Hey, did you ever do this?"
Yeah, I don't believe you.
And they have all said, "Yeah."
No, I don't believe you.
Well, don't believe me. But my second thing is how come underneath Donald Trump's first term, my middle-class family...
Can you name one of them?
Huh?
Name one of them.
No, I'm not going to call out people that...
Okay, I really don't believe you.
I'm not going to call out family and friends. That's fucked up.
Okay, all right. Well,
I mean, have you ever heard fucking snitches get stitches? You ain't been from around where I'm fucking at, bro.
Yeah, so I just the reduction of the companies now that I really don't believe you.
Well, don't believe me, but whenever you fucking live it, it's something different. But to my second point is why underneath Donald Trump's first term, my lower middle class family, and currently underneath this term, my lower middle class family, is seeming to thrive whenever the Democrats pretty much said that he was never going to help lower middle class and poor people.
You're telling me that you're already thriving as a result of Trump's second administration?
I mean, life's getting easier and better as the day.
What has Donald Trump done to make your life get easier and better so far?
I mean, whenever I go in and buy American goods, they've tended to drop.
The price of America, like what specifically?
I don't know, like it's cheaper to go down to my local butcher shop now and buy beef and chicken.
Beef has gone cheaper?
At my local butcher shop, it is cheaper to go buy his meat than it is to go to the store and buy the store's meat.
They've actually got more expensive. So this is coming from average price ground beef, 100% beef from FRED. The price of beef has only went up since its inauguration.
Okay, but what I'm saying is for the local mom and pop shop, who Trump said at the very beginning, said we're trying to promote small businesses. Same way it's been in Florida, same way it's been in Tennessee, same way it's been in Kentucky. They promote small businesses, mom and pop shops.
Listen to what I'm telling you. The average price of beef in America has gone up since its inauguration.
For those mom and pop shops that have cows that they butcher, it is cheaper to go to them than it is to go to the store who all jacked up their produce due to the tariffs.
Due to?
I said due to.
Sorry,
Fucking immature motherfucker. Shit.
So, Dustin, here's the issue. The average price of beef in America has gone up since Donald Trump's inauguration. Yet you are proclaiming that you, one of the lucky few, who lives near a beef shop that has had the price gone down of their product, is because of Trump's.
I never said it went down. It's pretty much stayed the same, but it is cheaper now. It is cheaper now to go to them than it is the store.
Okay, so the local product has maintained a consistent price, but it's gotten more expensive at the store. So in other words, you're saying that he's actually just made beef more expensive.
Yeah, that's kind of the point of a tariff. You jack up the price of other things to promote your own goods.
So you're telling me that Donald Trump has made your life easier by making the price of some products more expensive?
I mean, I tend to want to buy American more. It boosts our economy more if you buy American.
So how does Donald
Am I
Trump...
wrong? If you buy American, it boosts our economy instead of buying something from China, Afghanistan, Iraq.
So when you go to your local grocery store and you buy a good, you're buying a good that would provide an input into the American GDP. Plus, if your argument is now GDP growth, it went down the first financial quarter of 2025. But I do just want to clarify that your argument in a nutshell is literally Donald Trump has made your life easier since the start of his second term because he's made the price of some goods more expensive.
No, my argument.
So then what's the argument that he's made your life easier?
Promise of making American mom and pop shops and small businesses easier to make money because their products are cheaper.
Easier to make money. Well, I asked you this. You said that he's made your life easier since the beginning of his second administration. Obviously, increasing the price of some goods you could buy from some places doesn't make your life easier. So what has he done that's made your life easier?
He's promoted small businesses that I can go to and buy shit.
But listen, Dustin, this doesn't actually make your life easier, even if it was true. Because think about it.
It makes it a hell of a lot easier. Instead of me driving 15 minutes to a fucking store, I can go right down the street.
Dustin, I just want you to listen.
And go to the butcher shop, go to the general store, go to...
Dustin, listen to me. This is what you're saying. Business number one, big business. Business number two, small business. Business number one, big business, 30 minutes away. Business number two, small business, 10 minutes away. Before Trump was inaugurated, if you wanted to buy beef, you'd go to business number one, the big business that's 30 minutes away, and get it for $5 because the beef at the small business costs $6. But you're saying that Trump has actively made your life easier by instead making the beef from the business of number one, the big business, go from $5 to $7, and your life has been easier because now you have more incentive to only drive 10 minutes and still spend overall more money on your beef. So basically, in other words,
how would I spend more money?
Because you're saying that if Donald Trump wasn't president, if he didn't tariff these other countries, he'd still be driving 30 minutes away and buying it for $1 cheaper. So in other words, you're saying that Donald Trump has made your life easier by making you spend overall more money for the bare necessities to live. What the fuck?
Okay. if I got to drive 30 minutes to the store, that's $20 worth of gas. Whenever I could walk down, literally 5 minutes to the road, and go to a smaller store, walking don't cost money. I don't know if you know that. You probably drive fucking everywhere. But, and spend $7 whenever I could have went and got meat for $2 down across the street because it came from Canada or fucking Mexico.
Yeah, you're literally arguing that you're happy that Donald Trump is making you spend more money. You're like, Donald Trump is now making me spend $7 instead of $2, and I love it.
$7 instead of $21 because you got to put gas in the car to get the 30-minute drive.
Wait, well, if you're gonna add gas into the equation, insofar as how much it would cost you to get the beef from the other store, wouldn't it make more sense for you just to go to the local butcher, even though it costs more before the tariffs?
Whenever you own a business, do you factor in the factor of you got to put gas in your car to go to the job site? Yes.
So then you would have had more incentive to go to the local butcher in the first place before Trump introduced his tariffs. Like, you still had to spend money on gas before he introduced his tariffs, right?
I know, but what I'm saying is, whenever gas is,
I mean, listen.
Gas is
Literally,
cheaper
Dustin,
coming
hear me out.
from-
We're gonna use a scientific method, okay? So we need to evaluate, okay, the means in which you would get your beef before he was elected and now after he's elected. Okay, we're factoring for a shit ton of variables here, like gas, like time, like energy and effort. Okay, but all those variables are going to remain like relatively like consistent and stagnant before and after his inauguration. All right, so let's just look at the variables that change. What are the variables that change? Okay, it's not the price of the beef that you get from your local market. So what could it be? The price of the beef that you'd get from the big block store 30 minutes away. That is the only changing variable. All right, just listen. That is the only changing variable.
No.
Is the price. Okay, then what are the other changing variables?
there was a tax on gas. There was a tariff put on imported goods like gas.
So your gas is more expensive? Okay, so let me get this straight. The two things that have changed that have made your life easier since Donald Trump became president was gas got more expensive and beef from some stores got more expensive. How is that a win?
It's a win because it's promoting, hey, instead of going to the big box store, why don't you go help Polly and Sam down the road who
so
raise the
basically you're
cow?
telling me that your life has gotten easier because now you're now in a place where going to the local butcher is all things considered the best option for you, but in contrast you're still spending more money. Like the reduction of your claim is your life has been easier because you get to spend more money on mom and pop shops.
No, my claim is that it makes more sense.
Idiot! Dude, this is treacherous.
You're the fucking idiot. You're the one that voted for Kamala, you dumb bitch.
Dude, okay, and you rage quit and you left. Yeah, I'm the one that voted. I'm the one that voted for the candidate with tax policy that would have made everybody's life easier and would have grown us closer to our allies and ensured that human rights were protected in this country. Oh Jesus, I'm so stupid. Oh, how could I? Oh man, I didn't want to literally pay more money and then label me paying more money as the quality of my life increasing. He's calling me stupid. Your argument was literally that your life has gotten easier because you pay more to go to the store to buy shit because Trump's made your gas more expensive, and then you pay more to actually buy shit from the store because now you're sourcing from local farmers compared to fucking Walmart, Target, or City Market. Dude, come on, man. Really? I don't know what it is, you guys. Blows me away. Moving on to the next guest here. We're gonna get that next guest up in the live, y'all. What a crazy day. We got Kevin loading into the box. Yeah, then he's also saying that like 20 minutes for gas, $20 worth of gas for 30 minutes driving. What does he fucking drive? 2008, fucking F350, cut off muffler, deleted exhaust, probably 3 miles to the gallon. No, not even. Like half a mile to the gallon. Sounds about right. No, or like a tank. Yeah, he's taking he's taking a tank or a bulldozer from the family farm to go buy his beef. Yeah. Oh my god! Holy shit! Chloe! With a $250 over on PayPal! Chloe! That is Klowie. Klowie. Chloe says, I'm 8 years active duty. I lost rights to fight for yours and to uphold the Constitution that is currently under attack by our current administration. I'm not legally allowed to speak on Orange Man. Thank you for being my voice, the people's voice, and standing for the Constitution of the country I love so much. We're founded on diversity and due process. These are scary times. You give me hope. Thank you. Chloe. First and foremost, thank you for your service. You're an American patriot. And I couldn't mean that more seriously. I couldn't make that claim with more true conviction in my fucking bones. Chloe, the American patriot, thank you not only for the kind message, but also for the absolutely insane $250 donation on PayPal. Everybody, please show some love to Chloe down below in that chat. Please. Thank you so much for the love.
I just want to say, Dean, real quick, Trump has made it into schools. I'm Mexican myself. Schools, it just feels different, you know. Since Trump has been at it, everybody treats me differently. I think since kids listen to their parents and stuff talk about Trump, it's sad, man.
Man, you want to know something crazy?
Yeah.
So my grandma's best friend, she drops her grandson off at his elementary school, and she's Mexican. And last time she was picking her grandson up from this elementary school, these two teenage boys came up to her and hate crimed her, told her that this isn't her country and to go back home. So you're right. Trump has made it into the schools, and it's fucking so insane that this is a nationwide phenomenon. And I'm so sorry that you have to experience that.
I know. You know, I'm underage. I'm sorry for joining you live. I just want to say that. You know, it's really sad just to see this. It's sad. It makes me mad. It's like, parents take it into kids now.
You know, Angel, I got to remove you because you are underage,
Yeah,
but just
yeah,
know
it's
that,
fine.
like, I feel terrible. I feel terrible for you. I feel terrible for so many people in this country that now have to experience the consequence of the bigotry that he's reproduced. Moving on to the next guest. What's going on, Zach? Do you support the Trump administration?
Yeah, I support the Trump administration.
Great. All right, before we hop into our conversation here, Zach, if you're one of the 5.6 thousand people watching on TikTok, y'all, make sure that we're double tapping away on that phone screen. Let's try to get up 2 million likes. Also, make sure that you're sharing out this live with a handful of friends. And if you're watching over on YouTube, make sure to like the stream. As well as if you're watching and you'd like to support me, support the stream, keep the studio running for 4 hours a day every single day, you could support me via my Venmo, my PayPal, which you can find in the link tree in my bio on TikTok, as well as in the pin message over on the YouTube stream. I get 100% of the proceeds on these platforms compared to like 30% here on both TikTok and YouTube with their super chats. Zach, take it away and tell us why you support the current admin.
I guess I support, just a better economy. I know, I know. Yeah, I support the tariff.
How do you feel about fascism?
I'm not really a supporter of that, obviously, but
Donald Trump's a fascist. He actually fulfills all 14 characteristics of fascism.
all right. I know.
Does that concern you?
I guess I don't believe that, but
do you want to go through them?
If you would like to, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Fascism tenets, 14 defining characteristics of fascism. First one, powerful and continuing nationalism. Do you contest that Donald Trump wants to uphold powerful and continuing nationalism?
I'm not going to convince you anything differently. I'm willing to listen. You can educate me, I guess.
Yeah. Do you contest that Donald Trump wants to uphold powerful and continuing nationalism? Can we agree that's something he literally ran on?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, the second one is disdain for human rights. So he's been ignoring the Constitution, not granting undocumented migrants due process. And when federal judges, circuit courts, as well as the Supreme Court have checked him and told him to stop, he said that he's not going to stop. And then he told a news reporter that he doesn't know if he has to uphold the Constitution. So do you contest that he has a disdain for some human rights?
It could be seen that way by your opinion, sure.
Do you disagree with my opinion?
I'm not really thinking about that. I'm thinking about other stuff like the economy and, you know, a better life for myself, my family.
Let me tell you. So I'm a social democrat. That means at the end of the day, I am a capitalist. But sometimes I really understand the socialists. Sometimes I really understand the communists, because what you just told us is that you don't care about human rights. You just kind of, want to see the GDP increase. And the saddest part of it all is that last quarter, the GDP went down because of Donald Trump's economic policy. We were the only country in the world that had a decline in our GDP. So even though you don't care about human rights and you're purely hyperfixated on economic concerns, he's doing shit for the economy. Yeah, but basically what you just said is that fascism's okay if eggs are cheaper. And eggs aren't cheaper.
No, that's not really how I feel, but that's how you think I feel. But it's okay.
Well,
Can I
correct me
ask
where I
you?
went wrong.
I listen to you pretty often, and I think you're a pretty smart guy. And I actually, I'm learning some stuff from you. But can I ask you a question?
Yeah, for sure. I just wish that you would have engaged in that point a little bit.
All right. Well, I mean, okay. So what do you want? What is your question? No, I can engage some more. What's up?
I asked you to confirm or deny the second defining characteristic of fascism, which is a disdain for human rights. I gave you the evidence that Donald Trump does have a disdain for human rights, and you said, "I don't know, I don't care. I just want a better economy." And then
No,
response-
I just said that, from my interpretation, I just don't feel that he has a disdain for it, and I mean, I'm not super knowledgeable about what you're talking about exactly, so I mean, I could be wrong. I have no idea.
Would you
obviously
agree that due process is a human right?
Sure. I think that the part that we're disagreeing on is that somebody who comes here illegally and isn't, I know you're gonna go to the it's for all people or whatever, but I just feel like that people that come here illegally and don't deserve.
I have a question, because you just agreed with me that due process is a human right. Now you're just arguing that undocumented migrants don't deserve that human right. Are you pro-life by chance?
Yeah.
So why do you think fetuses deserve human rights, but undocumented migrants don't?
Well, fetuses are innocent. They're not breaking the law, and they're just breaking into somebody breaks into your house. Do you think that they deserve you to give them a shot, to see if they're cool or not, or do you just kick them out of your house?
So I just want to clarify. I just want to clarify that you actually do think that a clump of cells deserves more human rights than undocumented migrants.
Well, in my opinion, that's living life. So, but
Are undocumented migrants living life?
yeah, they are. But like I said, what about my point? Somebody breaks into your house, are you gonna give them due process, or are you gonna fucking kick them out of your house, Dean?
Due process is a function of
what are you gonna be like? Hey, what are you doing here, buddy? Is it
due
okay?
process, as ordained by the Constitution, is a part of the criminal justice system. And actually, when you defend yourself from a home invader, you're not giving the invader due process. You're defending yourself, and in fact, that's why you still get arrested and charged for murder if you kill them, and then self-defense is merely an argument in court during the due process. So actually, the way in which our criminal justice system functions is you're not giving a home invader due process when you defend yourself. So then you have to go to court and prove self-defense through due process. The due process for that self-defense comes later. Fun fact, it still happens.
Yeah, I can see your side. I'm just I guess I have my own opinions. And
But how does this relate to my crazy reduction of your view that you think clumps of cells deserve more human rights than undocumented immigrants?
Because in my opinion, that's your opinion. In my opinion, I believe that's a living life form, and that the potential of that becoming a human being.
I mean, but arguably, undocumented migrants are also human and alive.
Yes, they are, and they're
arguably. I don't know, man. Am I wrong?
I'm not arguing with that. They're human beings. They are. They just came. They broke the law. They were. You know what I mean? I don't know.
So
I
your
guess.
argument is because they broke the law coming in, they don't really so if you break the law, you don't really deserve like a human right to due process, right?
Well, I mean,
so what's funny is you're basically saying somebody that breaks the law doesn't deserve human rights if they're undocumented migrants. But if a white man from New York named Donald Trump breaks the law 34 times and then rapes a woman, not only does he deserve due process, but he also deserves the presidency.
all right, Dean. I know this is what I was gonna get myself into. I had a question though, because I mean, yeah, that's you got me, dude. Like
you gotta respond to that. If they're an undocumented migrant and they break the law, they don't deserve human rights. If they're Trump and they break the law, they deserve the presidency. Explain that one to us all, please.
Okay, so Trump went through the court of law and got his punishment. You know what I mean? He did his thing. Some people break the law and they turn away from whatever. They do good. Yeah, you're saying every felon that has ever been can't turn around and do good?
Are you arguing that Donald Trump should have gotten due process for the crimes that were alleged against him?
No, he did. He went through court. He got what he got.
Do you think he should have? Do you think he should have?
He got what he got. He did. He went to.
I'm not asking. I'm asking you if he should have got what he got. Do you agree that that giving him due process was a good thing?
I mean, yeah, that's fine. He's an American citizen.
So not giving him due process would have been a bad thing, right?
I mean, he's an American citizen, so I feel that the people that are American citizens are more like.
Are you saying that only American citizens deserve human rights?
Constitutionally protected.
Zach,
and I feel,
are you arguing that only American citizens deserve human rights? Because you agreed with me when I defined due process as a human right.
You got me, Dean. I don't know. Like, I guess I've heard you. I listen to you pretty frequently, so I already know where this whole argument's going to go. Like, I don't really know what you want me to say to you right now.
This is actually like a new one. I'm coming up with this on the spot, man.
No,
because, let me get this straight. You think that due process is a human right? Yes?
Because is it a human right? Like, is it? Or what's their country's laws? You know what I mean? Where they came from, where they left. What would they do to them?
It's not the question that I asked you, nor is it the question that you're responding to.
Well, that would be so. These are American.
My question was:
we're talking about
still
American
do
right.
agree that due process is a human right? Correct?
I mean, if you're from America, or if you're a legal citizen from America.
So only Americans deserve human rights.
I'm not saying that they deserve that. I'm saying that that's how the world works.
Wow. Let me ask you.
I'm saying that's how the world works.
Let me ask you. If there was a pregnant undocumented migrant that got an abortion, did they do anything wrong?
I don't really even want to get into abortions.
Answer the question. If there's a pregnant undocumented migrant that got an abortion, did they do anything wrong? Did they do something that should be illegal?
Did they do something wrong? I mean, by aborting their child, yeah, that'd be something wrong.
Why? Wait, why? Because you think only Americans deserve human rights.
Murdering is just like all wrong. But...
Oh, why is murdering wrong? Because it's a human rights violation? So undocumented migrants do have human rights?
We're just never going to get through on this one, Dean. I just had a question about, like, I had a question. Can I ask you any questions, or is it just you just interrogating me?
I mean,
I just had a real question. I was just curious.
Listen, this does feel like an interrogation, but the reason this feels like an interrogation is because you actually can't contest what I'm saying. Because what I'm saying is true, and what you believe.
Well, I can, and I can honestly say, what I believe, and then you say what you believe, and I mean, like, you'll just tell me I'm wrong, and.
But the point of a debate is for me to provide reason why you're wrong, and for you to provide reason why you're right, and reason why I'm wrong, and then we go.
Well, I kind of try to give it to you. I feel that other countries have their own laws. You know what I mean? They came from there, and yeah, I mean, it's probably the right thing. America might have it all right. They might not have it all right. I don't know.
Yeah, so if there's an undocumented migrant that comes from a country where abortion is legal, they should also legally be allowed to get an abortion in America, right?
I think abortion can go ahead and be legal, and it's kind of like put on your own personal self. Like, if you want to abort a baby and you can feel good about that, you can go ahead and do it. Like, that's not. I'm pro-life.
Wait, but earlier you called abortion
I'm pro-life personally.
So why should murder be legal, but undocumented entry into America illegal?
Because it is.
Because you're basically saying it should be this way because it is this way.
No, it's just the law. You have to live by the laws of your land. Like, you can't just
But
do what you want.
we're talking about what should be the case, because you just told me that murder should be up to the individual and shouldn't be illegal. Earlier you called abortion murder. Obviously I disagree.
Oh, well,
But-
other people
so
will
if
think
murder
it's
should be
murder.
legal,
I
why
could be
should
wrong. I could be
undocumented entry
wrong.
into America?
What's that?
If murder should be legal and up to every person, why shouldn't entry into America?
Be legal and up to every person?
Yeah.
So, Dean, to your point, like you're saying that every country should just have open borders at all times.
I mean, I think that's basically what you should be saying here. I don't see any reason why undocumented migration into America should be legislated on if you don't think murder should be legislated on.
No, I do think murder should be legislated on. I don't know where you got that from.
So either you don't think that abortion's murder, or you do think that abortion should be legislated on.
No, me personally, I believe that abortion's murder. You don't believe that it's murder. So, like me, I'm not gonna do an abortion. But you know
Okay,
what?
so if an undocumented migrant
If
entering
you
into
and your
America
wife
doesn't...
decide to have a- what?
So basically you're saying that if somebody doesn't think it's wrong, they should be able to do it. So if an undocumented migrant doesn't think that undocumented entry into America is wrong, they should be able to do it.
Dean, okay, your argument's kind of flawed a little bit in a way because you're saying that, okay, so an abortion, those are actually legal, right? For the most part, legal, and coming to America is illegal if you're not documented. Am I correct or wrong here?
What are you saying?
So abortions are legal for the most part, and then coming into
66 million American women don't have access to abortion, and 60 pregnant rape victims per day are also denied access
all
to
right,
abortion.
I said mostly legal. Okay, and then coming into America is 100% illegal without having documents, bro. Like that argument doesn't even make any sense.
Okay, I'm convinced that you just don't know what's going on at this point. You said that you had some questions for me. Feel free to ask them.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. And these are just like honest. Like I'm not super educated in this stuff. Like, but hey, I was just wondering, is it bad? So what Trump's proposing on our pharmaceutical drugs, you know, like getting them cut down to pretty much what other people are paying, because we're essentially paying 3 times more than they're paying. Pretty much putting 75% of the profit into these pharmaceutical companies out of America alone. Is that like fair to our country, or should we be kind of separating up the profits throughout all the countries, or should we?
What
be
is
paying
your
them?
question?
I'm just wondering, is it a bad thing, basically, like what Trump's doing with the pharmaceuticals? You know, like getting our drug prices cut down for everybody since we're paying triple, or trying to, you know. Is that a bad thing? Since we're giving 75% of the profits to these pharmaceutical companies.
So you're asking me if Donald Trump wanting to cut pharmaceutical drug prices is a bad thing?
Yes.
Okay, so no, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. However, I don't take him too seriously. The reason why I don't take this too seriously is because A, he's actually increasing the price of pharmaceutical drugs by introducing his tariffs on all goods imported into his country. In fact, he even introduced a specific tariff on pharmaceutical drugs. And then B, the executive order that he signed into law today surrounding decreasing the price of pharmaceuticals was merely asking companies to do it. His executive order said, please reduce the price of your pharmaceutical drugs. That's not the way to do it. If you want to get it done, you introduce price caps. If you want to get it done, you introduce maximum profit percentage. If you want to get it done, you introduce regulations onto these companies requiring them to abide by very specific legislation. You don't just ask them politely.
Okay. All right.
Like Biden. Like Biden. That's what Biden did with the IRA, placing a $30 cap on the price of insulin.
Yep. Okay, sounds great. Also, I was just also wondering about like, so just my couple questions. That I mean, I believe it's going to happen because it's kind of like the tariffs. You know what I mean? Like everybody was hating on the tariffs right away, and I'm sure you still have your hating on them or whatever. But was it a good thing or a bad thing? What happened with China and the U.S. just recently with the drop in the tariffs and giving us 90 days?
Yeah, overall it was a bad thing. Overall, it was a really bad thing. Yeah.
Why our stock market's
Well,
at the
thank you
same
so much
level
for Shell Energy. I
when
appreciate that.
Trump
Thank you
came
so
into
much.
office, isn't it?
Well, actually, it's at the same level that it was when he originally implemented the tariffs on Liberation Day over a month ago. The reason this is a bad thing is because it was 110% unnecessary. He caused short-term pain or short-term pain.
Well, I mean, he said it was going to be short term. So, okay, can I just ask? Can I just ask you something? So, if it turns out that these tariffs work great, and the stock market's booming, and everything's going great. Our GDP goes up in the next 6 months. Is that going to be still just like a bad thing that happened, or is that going to be a good thing?
No, it'll be good. I just want you to recognize the fallacious nature of the answer of the question you just asked me. The question that you just asked me was essentially stating, if Trump's policy ends up being good, will Trump's policy be good? Like that.
Well,
like,
I mean,
like a logically equivalent question would be, if you're wearing red shoes, are you wearing red shoes? If Bush actually did 9/11, then did Bush do 9/11?
I get what you're saying, but the reason I ask it like that is because it just seems that, like, when the stock market had tanked, and Trump did say that the stock market was going to tank, we're going to go through a time of pain, and now it's back to where it originally had started. And if it keeps going up and everything's going good, and you guys all said you ruined America, like, right off the bat by doing that, like, basically, like.
Can you please give me a very specific economic argument that these tariffs will yield long-term benefits?
Well, I mean, if China drops their tariffs on us, will that not help us out?
So they did by 115%, and we agreed to drop
Yeah.
our tariffs on them by 115%. But you'll understand that they'd increased their tariffs on us by over 115%, just like we increased our tariffs on them by over 115%.
Well, aren't our current tariffs right now, like, I think it was we have like an extra 10% for fentanyl, something for the fentanyl.
Goodbye, Zach. You can't say that on TikTok Live. Goodbye. Moving on to the next guest, we got Queen loading up, and oh my god. Dude. Elaine. Elaine with the $217 on PayPal. Dude, what the fuck is going on today? I'm bamboozled. Elaine. Holy shit. That is Eliane. Elaine. Thank you. That is incredibly kind of you. First we had Sarah, then we had Chloe, and now we have Elaine. What the fuck is going on today? Can everybody please show some love to Elaine down below in the chat for the over $200 donation on PayPal? I want to see so many W Elaines down below in that box. And then also Sid with the $100 over on Venmo saying, hi Dean, missed like the whole stream. Don't worry, we didn't start. We just started around 2 hours ago. Sid, thank you for the $100 donation over on Venmo. Fucking hell, Sid. Everybody, show some love to Sid. Show some love to Elaine. Oh my god. Thank you both so very much. I'm just... That's crazy. That's insane. Thank you guys so much for the love. I don't even know what to say. That is nuts. Thank you so much for the love, Elaine and Sid, as well as Adam with the $20 over on YouTube Super Chat, saying every guest should get a Snickers before they start debating, so they're less crabby. Yeah, a lot of these guests have been very, very, very crabby. That is very true. Everybody, please show some love down below in that chat. We are going to go and get that next guest up here right now, Brayson. Or Scott, what's going on? Do you support Trump? Scott, do you support Trump? Scott's not here, quite frankly. Moving on to the next guest. Go ahead and drop a MAGA down below in that chat if you would like to come up here and debate. We are just looking for some Trump supporters to have some dialogue with. Quite frankly, that's the truth. Hello, D-Slop. Are you MAGA?
Yes, but I do have a question for you.
I remember you. You're that kid. You're a kid, and you keep on coming up here. You come up here like once a day, and I'm like, hey, it's at St. Fetus. I remember you. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Hell yeah, I do.
Why is that, Zach? Tell us why you're MAGA. Come back to the live, Zach.
He's not Kamala, and he's good for our economy.
Is this like your real voice, or are you trolling?
What are you talking about?
I think it might be real. I'm sorry for making fun of your accent. Okay, let's talk about it. So, you said not Kamala.
Yes, sir.
What does that mean?
Well, we can't have a woman in charge of our country.
Okay, so you think men are better leading than women?
Hell yes, I do, sir.
And why is that?
Because men are better.
And why is that?
Because they're stronger.
Physically?
and mentally.
What do you mentally stronger? That's not true.
Yes, they are.
What do you mean by mental strength?
They have more resilience.
More resilience, like they're more likely to make decisions predicated on logic and reason, and are resilient to decision-making processes involving emotion.
Yeah, whatever you just said.
So that's actually not true. The opposite is true.
No, it's not.
Comparing females to males.
It's not.
Comparing females to males. Females are biologically designed to better deal with stress. They have thicker dendrites in the context of their neuroanatomy, which allows them to be better fit to deal with stress. And the biological evolutionary purpose of this is to deal with childbirth. So not only
Listen, son,
females better
you're
deal
just
with
spitting
stress-
nonsense.
So if you think science is nonsense, I'm not willing to believe that men are more mentally resilient than women.
Listen, I've never been wrong.
One sentence.
I'm not
Okay,
gonna
I've never
let.
been wrong. Yeah, that's a troll. And okay, all right, we're gonna move on to the next guess. Very troll. Yeah, I mean, I'd believe him if he was saying that like men are better at leading than women. A lot of people say that, not trolling. But like the whole never been wrong thing, very obvious. Hello, Victor.
What's going on, my man?
Hello, do you support Trump? Victor, do you support Trump?
What's going on, my man?
Not too much. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
How old are you? It looks
34.
like. Okay, Victor, you have a very bad connection. Maybe check your Wi-Fi. If it's on, turn it off. If it's off, turn it on.
Let me see.
I really want to talk to Victor, so I'm going to say we're going to give him a second. And in the meantime, we're going to go get another guest, Brayson, up here. We got Brayson loading into the live. This guy's on Maga Mobile. Hello, Brayson. While Victor's figuring out his Maga Mobile, take it away. Why do you support Trump?
Well, all right. Well, first of all, I'm not.
Brayson, how old are you?
Oh, I'm 18.
18. What year were you born in?
Do I have to expose that to everybody?
Yeah, you do.
Like, am I forced to? Or is it just like something that you just want me to prefer to do?
I
am. Good Lord.
Okay, I think that you're lying about your age. Okay, I think that you're lying about your age. Everybody. You know, when you tell us your age, you're exposing what you're born into everybody because of mathematics, quite frankly. By the way, if you're watching the stream and you'd like to support the stream, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio. I get 100% of the proceeds over on those platforms compared to around 30% here on TikTok or YouTube Super Chat. What's going on, the one? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I voted for Trump.
Oh, are you driving?
No.
Okay. You got a little bit of wind. Maybe if you could go inside, that'd be
Yeah,
nice.
I'm sitting in front of a fan out in the garage. So yeah, let me turn it on.
Sweet. So why do you support Trump, sir?
I think he was the better choice. I don't think Kamala was in my opinion, I don't think she was the right choice. I've voted both ways in the past. I voted for Obama when he ran, but I just wasn't feeling Kamala, man.
Okay, so why was the fascist better than the woman?
I don't think so. So here's the thing too, and I think the left has gone off the rails a little bit with the the fascism and the calling them a I don't know if you could say these words on TikTok, but
I actually disagree.
Yeah.
I actually think that here's my I'll be sympathetic to the position that like sometimes in politics we could use like hyperbolic descriptive language such as terms like fascist, Nazi, etc. To like refer to candidates that aren't actually fascists or Nazis. Now that I think about it, I think every time these terms have been used in my memory, they've been true. But I'm at least willing to express the idea that could happen in like, a very polarized political environment. But Trump is actually a fascist. That's the thing. Like,
So-
I mean, like if we just want to go over like the pillars of fascism as defined by the literature, I mean,
I truly believe
they
that
apply.
you don't believe that, and
I do.
it's just a ploy to rage bait people.
That's like the crazy part. I get it, man. I get where you're coming from. I do. I could put myself in your shoes and I could understand what you're saying from your perspective. If I was a Trump supporter, I'd be saying the same thing. But the thing is, I actually believe he's a fascist and I could prove it. He checks all 14 boxes. Okay, so do you want to go over that?
Let's hear just one. I'm curious. Let's hear one.
I mean, I think it's going to be important to go over all of them because I'm going to say one, and
Okay.
you're going to be like, that
Well,
alone doesn't prove
let's
fascism.
start with
But
one.
the
and
first defining characteristic of fascism is powerful and continuing nationalism. I don't think that I need to explain how Donald Trump wants powerful and continued nationalism. He ran on it.
Well, so here's the debate there. Then, I think everyone in politics wants power, so everyone would check that box.
So I think a fair bit of politicians would check that first box of powerful and continuing nationalism. However, I think that Donald Trump is a exemplary,
Yeah, I mean, that's
point
your
of data
opinion.
because of Donald Trump's ideas of powerful and continuing nationalism related to calling undocumented migrants illegal aliens, directing ICE to do deportations in absence of due process,
Which he's
violating
well
court
within his
orders.
right to do. He's the president of the United States.
So
He has
actually,
that power.
according to the Constitution, the President of the United States does not have the power to overrule the Supreme Court decision. Why are you lying?
He does under the Aliens Act, which he's invoked.
Actually, that was struck down by a federal judge, and no act supersedes the Constitution.
No,
act
it
supersedes
did
the
not.
interpretation
It was a
of the
9-0
Constitution.
in favor of it.
So
No,
the 9-0
so
decision from the
they
Supreme
were in
Court
favor of
ordered
him
the
using-
Trump administration to facilitate the return of Abrigo Garcia. And he
Right,
denied.
and the first part
He
of that,
ignored the
what you're
Supreme Court.
leaving out, the first part of their judgment was that they allowed him to use the Alien Enemies Act, and that he was supposed to quote facilitate his return. So define facilitate.
He didn't.
Define
Yeah,
facilitate.
to try your best to get it done.
Right, and so when the what do they call him, the prime minister or president of the country that they sent him back to is saying, no, we're good, we don't want to send him back, he's a criminal.
Yeah, but
What
the
do you
issue
do
is
with that?
that's also what Trump said. Donald Trump isn't attempting to facilitate the return of Abrigo Garcia. Donald Trump has said that himself. In fact, Donald Trump even put out a statement on the White
Okay.
House account on Twitter saying that it's never going to happen and that he's never
He
going
doesn't have to.
Because so yes,
He doesn't have to.
so he's ordered by the Supreme Court to facilitate the return of Abrigo Garcia. Yes, he indeed
Right,
does, legally
so
speaking.
let's say-
Would you let me
let's say you
finish
made a
before
point.
you interrupt me? I would really appreciate it if you'd let me
All
finish
right,
this
my
out.
bad. Good.
Thank you. So yes, legally speaking, he does have to facilitate the return of Abrigo Garcia. And if you are curious, right, the Supreme Court then took the issue and gave it to a lower circuit court to delineate insofar as what he literally has to do to facilitate it with specific actions. That determination has not been made yet. Okay? So all we know
Yeah.
right now is that he's ordered to try to get him home. But the issue is Donald Trump has never tried to get him home.
Well, you don't
Donald
know that.
Trump
He could have made a
has
phone call.
denied. No, we do know that he's denied to try to make him home. He's made that very public information.
Gotcha. Okay.
So he's ignoring the Supreme Court.
No, I don't think. I mean, okay. Let's say he is. So what?
So what? That's a
Yeah,
violation
I
of the
mean,
Constitution.
so they're saying facilitate his return.
So fucking
He's
what?
saying
It's a
that-
violation of the So fucking what? So fucking what? Wait, there's absolutely no way you're going to convince me that you care about
look,
immigrants
hey.
entering into the country with the use of illegal means when you're then going to sit here and tell me that you don't care about the president of America defying the Supreme Court, ignoring the Constitution, and doing unconstitutional acts, duties, and things. So fucking what? So fucking what? You know, so fucking what? Here's what I know. So fucking what? Is that earlier when I was telling you that Trump's a fascist, not only is he a fascist, but you like it. You see fascism and you say, gimme, gimme. You look at the consolidation of power, okay, which was, you look at the checks and balances of power inside of America as ordained by the American Constitution that the founding fathers of this country fought and died for in a war against Britain. Okay. And then you look at one man close to 300 years later trying to overrule, eradicate, and consolidate those checks and balances down to his own branch, to himself. And you say, so fucking what? You're a traitor. You're not a patriot. You've never been a patriot. You stand against what America's supposed to stand for. And if you were standing in front of the founding fathers of this country, okay, guess what? They'd hate you.
I think you're wrong.
No, you just told us that you don't care about the consolidation of power to one branch of the government in defiance of the Supreme Court and Constitution.
No, that's not what I said. You're putting words in my mouth.
That's what you said.
What
So
I
what?
said was, which I haven't really been able to talk much, but you're saying that Donald Trump didn't make an attempt or to facilitate this guy's return, quote unquote. I'm saying you don't know that for a fact.
I do know that for a fact.
No, you do not.
Yes, I do. Yes, you haven't.
To facilitate could have been a simple phone call. You don't know if he's made this phone call or not. He could have made a phone call and said, "Hey,
the issue here,
send them back." And when they said, "No, we're good, bro. We're gonna keep them," then that's enough.
So the issue here is that this would be true if Trump didn't personally say that he's never going to come back to America.
So this could have, again, he could have said this after the phone call. Like, again, you don't know.
He said that we don't want him back, and then he went and he sat down with a news reporter from ABC, and he says that he doesn't know if he has to uphold the Constitution. In fact, in the 100 Days interview with ABC as well, the ABC news reporter told Trump that he could pick up the phone right now, call El Salvador, and get Rodrigo Garcia back to America, and he said no. So actually, we do know that he's not done that.
Why would you want this guy back?
So now you've implicitly conceded that sure he's violating the order from the Supreme Court, and now you're saying why would you want him back? Yeah, because unlike you, I'm an American patriot and I'm pro law and order. That's why.
So let me ask you this: so he's clearly a criminal. He's beat his wife. He did all kinds of great stuff. So let's say we bring him back to just then.
Guess what? Okay,
send him away again?
So apparently, people who you think are bad don't deserve constitutional protections. That's awesome, man.
No, I'm saying we're gonna bring him back to then send him back.
Yeah, sure. I bet he could get deported, and he should. And if he is deported, very possibly. He just needs to be.
So
given
that
due
would
process
make you
and filed an
happy if
immigration
we
court.
wasted the money to bring him back to then send him back.
Okay.
Again.
Well, actually, deportations generally don't make me happy. However, if it is true that he has committed a violent crime of a domestic abuse upon his ex-wife, it is the case that then I would support his deportation. However, it would make me happy for due process in the law to play out as it's supposed to. And if you
Under
think
the Aliens
that
Enemy
spending
Act,
money
they don't
to
get
ensure
due
that the
process.
Constitution is upheld, you're basically telling me that it makes you sad to uphold the Constitution.
That's not. Again, you're putting words in my mouth. You're just putting words in my mouth.
The Supreme Court ruled that is what.
Again, they ruled that he can use the Aliens Enemy Act.
So then why did they rule that they facilitate the return of Rodrigo Garcia if his deportation was legal, constitutional? And
So you're saying that they did not? They did not tell.
No, that's actually
Trump
not what I'm saying at all. Stop red herring my position, straw manning my position, and answer my question. If you're arguing that the Supreme Court ruled that the Alien Enemies Act was constitutional, and that he was deported via the Alien Enemies Act in a constitutional manner, then why did they order him to facilitate the return of Rodrigo Garcia?
Because they're two different things. They're saying
So it was unconstitutional to deport Rodrigo Garcia, and the Alien Enemies Act is neither here nor there and is completely irrelevant to the conversation, so how come you keep bringing it up? Boom.
No, I mean, it's not a boom. That's not a. I don't know what to tell you, bro. You're not. It's not like a gotcha.
I think it might be. Typically gotchas are
definitely not.
Okay, well, if I didn't get you, what's your response?
I mean, the conversation's kind of dead, man. We don't agree.
Wait, if the conversation was dead, silent, null, and done with my question to you, I think I did get you.
No, the president has the power under the Aliens Enemy Act to deport people without due process. Period. End of story.
And you argue that the Alien Enemies Act was not here or there and completely irrelevant to the illegal, unconstitutional deportation of Rodrigo Garcia. So why do you keep bringing it up?
No, because again, the two different situations. The one ruling is for the use of the Aliens Enemy Act, and one ruling is for one specific case about one specific individual.
Yeah,
that's
you're
it.
right. So you're telling me that they're completely separate.
Things.
They're two different things. They're distinct.
So just because they said
so then if they're completely separate, if the Alien Enemies Act is not relevant to the deportation of Rodrigo Garcia, then why do you?
No, because I think that he got deported prior to the Supreme Court ruling.
Oh, so actually, Supreme Court rulings, insofar as the constitutionality of things, is like it acts in retrospect. So, like for instance, if they had ruled the Alien Enemies Act as constitutional, that would mean anybody previously deported under the Alien Enemies Acts was legal and constitutional as well. Just like when the Supreme
Right.
Court ruled that Donald Trump's EO on birthright citizenship was unconstitutional, that retroactively enforced that every new citizen born by undocumented migrants in America while that EO was in place was a citizen as well. Supreme Court rulings are retroactive.
Right, I understand, and that's why they're not
Okay,
asking
so
to
then
have anyone else say
if he was
that.
deported under the Alien Enemies Act, it would have been constitutional, and they wouldn't have ruled Trump to facilitate his return.
Again, you're wrong.
What am I wrong about? You just agreed that I'm right, actually. You agreed
No.
that the rulings are retroactive.
The rulings are retroactive, but I think because this guy got so much, news that around him that they are specifically looking at that one case because he's claiming he's not a criminal and he's not an illegal immigrant.
Oh, so in other words, you're saying that the Supreme Court's ruling that it was unconstitutional doesn't actually mean it's unconstitutional.
No, it's not what I'm saying.
So then it was unconstitutional for Trump to deport him?
I don't think that it was either constitutional or yeah, I think it was constitutional. If he's an illegal immigrant,
so then you're saying that the Supreme Court is wrong, and then on top of that, you're also saying that the
I'm
Supreme
not
Court
saying the
is
Supreme Court is wrong. You're just
the
like
Supreme Court ruled
you're-
it unconstitutional.
you're
That's why they
kind of
ruled
like
him to facilitate his return.
pretzeling shit. I
Wait,
mean, really.
why would they rule him to facilitate Abrigo Garcia's return if his deportation was legal and constitutional? With what ground, with what standing would they have to rule that the Trump administration is legally obligated to facilitate his return?
Again, facilitate is not the same.
Okay, I understand, but I'm using the word facilitate, so answer my question. With what legal standing would they have to rule the Trump administration?
They
to
haven't
facilitate
even
his return
decided
if
what
his
that
deportation, if his deportation was legal, valid, and constitutional.
They haven't even ruled on what facilitate is even going
This is
to
not
mean.
this is not relevant to my question. Why would they make that ruling at all if his deportation was legal, valid, and constitutional?
They haven't ruled. That's the point.
So they did rule that they do have to facilitate the
It's
return.
still-
they
it's
haven't
still-
delineated what the facilitation should specifically
should
look
mean,
like with
right,
the lower
exactly.
circuit court. But I'm talking about the ruling that they had to facilitate the return at all, defining facilitation under any sense of the word. Why would they rule him to facilitate Abrigo Garcia's return
I'm
under
gonna
any sense
say
of the
that I don't
word
know.
if his deportation was completely legal?
I'm going to say that I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
not a
because if you were to
Supreme
answer in
Court-
good faith and say that you do know because it was illegal and unconstitutional, your argument would be invalid.
So you're gonna say that the Aliens Enemy Act, the president is not allowed to deport people.
I'm saying that your argument that Abrigo Garcia's deportation
Why
was
don't
legal,
you
valid, and
concede and say that
constitutional
it's right?
is
That's what I'm
absolutely
saying.
fucking wrong, and it's been proven wrong by the Supreme Court, and
Okay.
you don't have a counter argument to what I'm saying because I've been able to reduce you down to saying that you have no fucking clue why the arbiters of the Constitution that make rulings on the constitutionality of actions taken by our government, our people in our country, would rule that the Trump administration has to facilitate the return of Abrigo Garcia. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's because when they deported him, it was illegal, it was unconstitutional, and that's why the arbiters of the Constitution then told him to bring him back.
So
Just a
explain why
shocking
it was
idea,
illegal.
and
Why was
maybe
it
the
illegal?
evidence. Oh, I don't know. Ask the fucking Supreme Court.
Exactly. So you don't know.
Yeah, I think appealing to the Supreme Court is a
The
damn
Supreme
strong
Court
standard
said
of
the Aliens
evidence.
Enemy Act
Thank
is allowed
you.
to be used.
And you're
So
the one that
explain
told me
why
that
you
the
think it was
Alien Enemies
illegal.
Act had nothing to do with the
Why
deportation
was
of
it
Abrigo
illegal?
Garcia.
Why was it illegal?
I just want to clarify what you just said. You just said that A, the Alien Enemies Act had nothing to do with the deportation of Abrigo Garcia, and then you said B, because they ruled the Alien
didn't
Enemies
say
Act
that.
was constitutional. Yes, you did.
No. Why don't
said
you
it
answer
3
my
times.
question? Why
The
is
one-
it illegal?
The one
for
you
him
said
to be
it.
deported?
You said it 3 times.
Why was it illegal?
Oh, I already answered that too. I said I don't know. Ask the Supreme Court.
So you don't know.
Yeah, no fucking clue. But
So
I know that the
just
Supreme Court
reduced
does.
you down to not knowing. See how that works?
I don't understand the issue here. The Supreme Court ruled it was
Exactly.
illegal.
You're,
I think
you're pigeonholing me, and I can pigeonhole you the same way.
you're not pigeonholing me though. See,
Yeah,
like, here's
you're
the thing.
saying that I just reduced you down to not saying this.
The reason that this isn't
you
so the
don't
reason
know. You
So,
don't know.
so the reason that this isn't a pigeonhole, the reason that this isn't a gotcha, the reason why this actually is not an issue within my perspective at all is because it's the Supreme Court that made the ruling. There's no higher court of appeals. Listen,
Right.
if it was like a district court that made this ruling that he had to facilitate the return of Abrigo Garcia, you could very easily make the argument that the Trump administration would be able to appeal that ruling and take it to a higher court, and then use the fact that I have no clue why that ruling was made in the first place to give credence to your position and
Right.
dispute my position that it was a valid ruling. But because there's no higher court of appeals on top of the Supreme Court, as they are the ultimate interpreters of the Constitution, and that is self-defining, I don't need to know why they made their ruling to acknowledge that their
Hold
ruling
on.
is unchangeable, valid, and held by any court
Calm down.
whatsoever.
Hold on. Listen, I'm going to try to make this very specific question. I'm not asking why the Supreme Court ruled. I'm asking if the Aliens Enemy Act is being invoked and Trump is legally allowed to use this act, then why was it illegal for him to deport that guy? I don't know his name.
Yeah, once again, the answer is I don't know, but it was.
Okay, so then the same answer that I gave would be the same answer you are giving right now.
No, because you're saying I don't know, but the Supreme Court is wrong. See, the Supreme Court can't be.
No, I'm saying I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't know why they would rule one way and then in the same sentence after that rule for this guy to be facilitated to come back. I don't know why.
It's because, as you said earlier, the Alien Enemies Act has nothing to do with Abrigo Garcia. I could actually give some more specifics on that apart from your self-admittance.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that, but I think that we're
Yes,
both
you did. Wait.
right
I want
and
to
we're
clarify.
both wrong.
Don't interrupt me. No, you literally said that the Alien Enemies Act is neither here nor there in relation to.
That's
Abrigo
not
Garcia.
what I said.
That's what you said verbatim.
No, that is not what I said.
Why are you
I
gaslighting
said
me so
that they're
fucking
two
hard?
different
Wait, I want to
cases.
clarify that yes, the Alien Enemies Act had nothing to do with Abrigo Garcia's deportation. First, he invoked the Alien Enemies Act as it relates to quote unquote invaders from Venezuela, particularly Venezuelan gang members. I have a question: was Abrigo Garcia a Venezuelan gang member? No, he's from El Salvador. Second of all, it is the case that even the White House and Donald Trump admitted that Abrigo Garcia's deportation was a mistake and not in accordance with laws previously set forth by the admin, including the invocation of the Alien Enemies Act. So earlier, when you told me that the Alien Enemies Act was neither here nor there in relation to the deportation of Abrigo Garcia, you were right, and I just proved it.
Honestly, you talk so fast, I didn't hear a word you fucking said.
For sure, I'll slow it down. The Alien Enemies.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm really over the conversation.
I think it's
like-
valuable. I think it's valuable.
No, man, it's so like you're not being real
I
genuine.
think
Like you're saying,
I think it's.
you're
I think
saying
it's-
you don't know something, and then when I say, "Oh yeah, I don't know why they made that ruling either,"
no,
you're
listen,
trying
I
to say
actually-
that I'm
I
saying that
actually-
the Constitution
I actually
and I
am.
hate America.
Hey, listen, I
and
actually
whatever, bro.
do know. I
so
actually
like,
do know.
I mean, like I was pretty nice the whole time.
I'm muting you because I know if I let you finish the monologue, you'll just leave. I want to clarify. I actually do know that the Alien Enemies Act has nothing to do with Abrigo Garcia's deportation. I mean, so did you 10 minutes ago, but you've changed your mind. The reason why the Alien Enemies Act has nothing to do with the deportation of Abrigo... he left anyways. Fuck! Fuck, he left anyways! They get proven wrong and then they leave. Why are, like, Trump supporters so unfucking willing just to change their mind? We got a runner. Yo, Gradients, thank you so much for the $20 super chat over on YouTube. Direct quote from the Supreme Court: Abrigo Garcia was subject to withholding order forbidding his removal to El Salvador, and the removal to El Salvador to El Salvador was therefore illegal. Damn, Gradients! I wish I would have seen that like literally a minute ago. Thank you so much for the $20 as well as the quote. That's gonna be incredibly fucking meaningful. What's up, Aviation? Do you support Trump?
No, I just want to clarify something. You said
You're based, but we are just looking for Trump supporters to have conversations with, but you're very fucking awesome. As well as, let's see here. Oh my God. Adam with the $300 donation over on PayPal.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, bro, you're driving. I gotta kick you. But let's get 3,000 W Adams. Let's get 3,000 W Adams in that fucking chat. Dude! Thank you. Thank you, Adam. Everybody, Show some love to Adam down below in that chat right now. I mean, I want to see nothing but W Adams down below in that chat. It's incredibly kind of you. It's incredibly kind of you. What the fuck? Sid with the $200 super chat on YouTube saying, heard we're showing love to Dean today. Oh, I'm so impressed. Sid. And then Disgusted Veteran with a $50 super chat. Sid, Adam, and Veteran. Holy fucking shit. Everybody, show love to Sid, Adam, and Veteran down below in the chat. Literally right fucking now. You guys are so incredibly kind. I want to see nothing but W sets, W Adams, and W Veterans down below in that chat. Literally right the fuck now. Thank you, you guys, so much. I do not deserve that level of love. I'm just flabbergasted. Everybody, please show some love to Sid, Adam, and Veteran down below in that chat while we hop into this next conversation. That is absolutely insane. Rivers, do you support Trump? They're not even here. All right. Oh my God. Oh my God. Just like, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. You guys, I just, thank you. Thank you.
Yo, what's going on?
What's going on, Luke? How are you?
I'm 24.
You support Trump?
Yes, sir.
Oh no.
Dude, it's
Why are you doing
crazy.
such a thing?
I don't know. I just think he's good for America, you know?
Oh, in what ways?
Getting all like the bad illegal people out of the country, you know, securing our border. Oh shit.
Yeah, did you know that the deep Luke is gone. Goodbye. Okay. Well, that conversation is over, I guess. We're going to move on to the next guest. If you're Maga, let me know down below in that chat. We'll get you up on the stream. That guy left incredibly quickly. The guy left incredibly quickly. Hi, do you support Trump?
Yes, I support Trump.
Okay, how old are you?
20.
What year were you born in?
2005, May 2nd.
Okay. Do you have a driver's license?
Do I have to show you?
No, you don't. Just do you.
Okay, I want to talk about the immigration policies.
Yeah, that's fine. But real quick, do you have a driver's license? You're not going to have to show me or tell me anything on it. Just like a yes or no.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So when you're driving a yellow line next to a solid yellow line, what does that mean?
I love you, Dean. I want to marry you.
We're going to move on to the next guest. Hello, Dennis. How old are you?
Hello?
Hi. How old are you?
I'm 55.
Oh, welcome in, Dennis. You're the same age as my father.
Oh, damn.
Do you support
Pretty
Trump?
young. I voted for him, but that was a bad vote.
Oh, you
But,
regret your vote?
I've been going, yeah, that was
Oh, base, bro.
not the best one. But if I could do it all over again, I would vote for
Yeah,
Harris.
hey, Dennis, just know that you can't do it all over again, but you can do it again in 2026 midterms and 2028, the next general presidential election. Dennis, you're awesome. We love you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, man.
Thank you. I got one thing to ask you, to talk to you about.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Come on.
I know that you you want a position, but what I have noticed in my area now, I don't know, and I'm trying to get some knowledge from you that you would maybe you can tell me, because I've been watching your lives for a while, just silent, and you seem to be pretty knowledgeable. And
Very kind of you.
yeah. I'm passing by. I have an electric car, but I'm still looking when I pass by gas stations. Everybody's saying that it's Trump's fault that gas and stuff has gone, but in California, the highest gas prices are down. Well,
So on the nationwide average, they're up month by month.
could it be just around my town that the gas prices are down? Well, let's say for Biden's,
Oh,
it
actually,
was
it does look like they're
485.
it actually does look like they're down by 60 cents in the last month on the nationwide scale.
Okay, that okay. So it's not only me. Another thing, I went to the store yesterday. I grabbed some Sprite in the plastic bottles. You know, the 20 ounce. That's down. The food is down. So what's going on? Everybody's saying I'm not defending Trump at whatsoever, but I'm seeing that the food is the prices of food is down too.
Yeah. I think that can be explained by the fact that before Donald Trump implemented his tariffs, big companies knew that they were coming. During the first financial quarter of this year, we saw a 44% increase in imports. Then, of course, GDP
Okay.
growth slowed down because of that. Alongside, consumers were less confident in spending their money and they saved more. So basically, they had more product to sell with a lower demand. So short-term low prices can be expected.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, that makes sense when I say it out loud. More
Yeah,
companies were hoarding imports, so they had more product to sell. Less people are spending their money because they're less confident in the market. Higher supply, lower demand.
Okay. Let's go one more. Egg prices. We're talking about really extremely high egg prices. I go to Costco and I buy the eggs by the dozen, and it's just only $1 up. Then I have spent than usual. Can you explain that? It's
Uh,
$1.
I mean, I actually don't think that like the change in the price of eggs has been like too significantly associated with Biden or Trump. Like there's a bird flu, they had to kill a bunch of them. The price of eggs went up. I think now they're going down. You're saying that they're up by another $1.
Right.
But you know, like I would say, you're shopping at Costco. Costco is kind of is a privilege. They sell in bulk, and they're honestly a pretty good company. They're hyper fixated on providing the lowest prices for their consumers. I'd say on the nationwide scale, we saw a dramatic increase in the price of eggs caused by the bird flu. And as we've now been hatching new eggs and more chickens have been being born, the price of eggs seems to be going down.
Okay.
Because it was an irregular event in the market, which caused extremely high prices because of a shortage.
Right. And one more thing. I don't know if this is fake news. I know I said one more, but
I got it. This is going to be the last one. I'm sorry, Dennis. I want to get back
last
to the
one.
debates.
Okay, I'm sorry. Does the tariffs a pause on tariffs right now
Yeah.
on across the board?
Apart from China, but yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
For how long? They said 90 days.
Yeah, it was a 90-day pause. But Dennis, I appreciate you for coming up, man.
All right. Thank you very much. Take care. You're awesome, dude.
Thank you so much, Dennis. You're awesome as well. What's up, Parker? How old are you? Parker! Parker. Hello, Parker. Do you support Trump? Parker? You and your 18 Silverado? Parker? Looks like Parker's not here, so we're going to move on to the next guest. Somebody in the chat said, Parker, happy to see you. Another Parker. Yo, Al, thank you so much for the $13 over on Venmo. So I'm so freaked out right now. Can you say something comforting? No pressure. I don't know how long you've been going. I'm just feeling so justified in my panic. Listen, I'd say, honestly, if you're at a point where you're really fucking panicking, just take a step back, focus on your interpersonal relationships with those that you love, and take a mental break from what the administration's doing. I'd say that every person definitely should do that when needed to at the expense of your own mental health. When you're really panicking, just kind of step back and do your best. Act like politics don't exist. Obviously, some individuals are going to have significantly more privilege to do that than others. But when it's getting really bad, just seriously try your best, man, regardless of how much privilege you'd have in doing so. What's going on, Bryant? Do you support Trump?
No, it's a good question though.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just going to move on. The last guest we did have up was also not a Trump supporter. We are just looking for a Trump supporter to have a conversation with. Moving on to the next guest, everyone. We got Ladybugs loading into the live. Here we go, everyone. Go ahead and drop a MAGA down below in that chat if you do want to come up and debate. Somebody says Trump's goated. Your bio reads G59. I hope you're a troll. I hope you're a troll. Hello, what's going on, Looney? How old are you?
I'm 20. I was born in 2005.
2005, what month?
January.
January, phenomenal. So, do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, because he was a better choice than Kamala. That's for sure. And
why?
Well, I'm not. I just want to say something real quick because you were saying that you were a patriot, right? So
Yeah, true patriot.
I want to know. Okay, did you vote for Biden?
No, I didn't. I would have if I was old
Okay. Oh, but you would have, even though he tried to take our guns away and take away our amendment, right? He was a tyrant. He was a tyrant.
Yeah, let's take those guns away.
That's tyrannical. We have the right to bear arms.
Let me
It's
ask you
an
a question.
amendment.
Out of the last two administrations, Biden-Harris, then Trump-Pence, only one of those administrations passed gun control. Which one was it?
Last I knew, it was Biden.
No, Biden didn't pass any gun control, but Trump did.
Trump is literally pushing. Trump is pushing for felons to have the right to own guns.
Looney, do you mind if you let me finish?
Okay.
So out of the last two administrations, Biden-Harris, then Trump-Pence, the only administration to pass any gun control was the Trump administration. And to make it worse, the gun control they passed, bump stock bans, was inevitably ruled as unconstitutional by the Supreme Court, meaning that Trump literally violated your 2A amendment, your constitutional protections under 2A. Okay. And then to make it even worse, he also did an interview with Mike Pence where he straight up said that we should take criminals' guns first and then give them due process second. Seems like Trump's the only tyrant here.
But he's literally pushing for felons to have their guns.
Is he now?
Yes, he is.
Interesting. Doesn't change anything that I just said.
I know a lot of felons that have been talking about how they're going to have the right to own a gun again and protect their house from the illegal immigrants that leaked in under Biden's administration.
Oh, so he wants criminals to have guns to kill undocumented migrants.
No, to protect themselves because illegal immigrants were coming. Did you see what they were doing to apartments in Chicago and shit?
I have a question. Are you a natural U.S. born citizen?
Yes, I am.
You're statistically speaking 2 times more likely to commit a violent crime than an undocumented migrant. So when you phrase this example of Donald Trump wanting more people to be able to own guns to protect themselves against others, seemingly like your first order concern should be citizens, because citizens are per capita 2 times more likely to commit violent crimes than undocumented migrants. Not to mention that there's a lot more citizens than undocumented migrants. You should 99% of your concerns about violent crime should be directed to citizens.
Well, I just think that everybody should have the right to own a gun and protect their house and themselves.
Okay, so respond to what I said specifically about the example that you gave referencing undocumented immigrants. I would really appreciate it if you'd engage with what I'm saying compared to
well, you cut me off first of all and didn't even let me finish my sentence. I was going to say, what about the illegal immigrants that went to Chicago? And it wasn't even just in Chicago. There was multiple states where they were pulling up and taking over full apartments. We had illegal immigrants living in hotels, and American citizens could not get a hotel and sleep in them because of the fact that they were filled with illegal immigrants. And on top of that, the illegal immigrants were getting way more money in food stamps than us. And they were just getting money thrown at them by our government while we were left to starve. And that was because of Biden, Joe Biden, the liberals. Illegal immigrants.
I have an idea.
I am not.
Can we do something?
Wait. Let me say this one thing because I see someone in the chat. I seen someone in the chat say that I was racist.
I didn't mean to interrupt your grandstand.
Somebody in the chat just called me racist. I'm not racist. I think that there's a right thing to do, a right way to do things, and a wrong way to do things. You should not come to our country illegally. You can do
what
it
a Freudian slip! What a Freudian slip! I've never heard a worse Freudian slip in my fucking life. That was crazy. That was crazy.
What did I say that was crazy?
Yeah, you said there's a white way to do right way to do things. You accidentally said white instead of right.
Okay, but see how you're trying to make it seem like I'm racist for mispronouncing a word. I'm sorry for not having a.
Come on.
What do you mean? Come on, I have a speech problem. I was in speech classes since I was in
listen,
elementary school. You fucking idiot.
You said, and I quote, "I'm not racist. There's a white way." Then you corrected yourself.
I meant to say right way. I have a speech impediment, you dumbass. I've been in speech classes since elementary.
I'm absolutely fine to believe you. Okay, I'll believe you. But like, I think it was so justified for me to point that out and call that a Freudian slip.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I could see why you pointed it out, but I didn't purposely see it. Like, there was no intention behind it. I just struggle with speaking.
I'll believe you. I'll believe you. I will. I'll believe you. But listen, okay, I still do think that you are racist.
Okay, you can think that. I don't care. I don't believe in race. I believe in human beings.
And one of the reasons that I think you might be racist was because how you framed gun ownership. Okay? I am so sick and tired of people using undocumented migrants to paint a villain for everybody to consume each other into a larger group because of the hate, the animosity, and the fear they have for this false depiction of undocumented migrants as these violent criminals. Okay, but you're only further perpetuating that image, that false depiction of undocumented migrants, when you tell me that we need to ensure that felons have the right to own guns to protect themselves from undocumented migrants. Now listen, you also shared quite a few misconceptions about the truth. You said that undocumented migrants were living in hotels, they were getting more food stamps than citizens, and the Biden administration was just throwing money at them. Hey, I have a question. What level of conviction do you have in these claims? A lot or a little?
What do you mean?
How confident are you that those claims are true?
I'm pretty confident.
Okay. Do you want to bet?
Do I want to bet? Yeah, let's bet.
How much?
Oh, you want to bet like actual money? You think I'm going to give you money?
You'd only give me money if you were wrong, and seemingly you're confident you're not. So, in other words, you're confident that you're not going to be giving me money. In fact, one could even say you'd be confident that I'd be giving you money. So.
Okay, I guess, bro.
So how much?
I'm not betting money on it.
But you're confident that if we were to bet, I'd.
Yeah, I can be confident. I can be confident that I'm right and still end up being wrong.
Okay.
I'm not one of those people who thinks I'm right all the time.
So food stamps. Let's start there. You said undocumented migrants get more food stamps than American citizens. Mm-hmm. USDA, which is the federal organization that oversees the federal allocation of expenditure for food stamps, states in plain text on their website that non-citizens are not eligible to receive food stamp SNAP benefits through them. Okay? I want to make that very clear. So they do not receive federal benefits for food stamps. The second claim about living in hotels. First, let's examine where that claim comes from. That claim comes from migrants living in the Roosevelt hotels, as well as other hotels in New York City. So let's look at who those migrants are. Are they undocumented? No. Are they legal, documented refugees and asylum seekers? Yes. What does this mean? Your claim that undocumented illegal migrants are living in hotels is not true. The last claim that you made was that Biden was throwing money at them. That claim is false. Now, of course, I can't prove your claim wrong, so I'm just simply going to have you prove it right, and you won't be able to, and that will prove my claim for me. Name one allocation of federal expenditure that Biden spent on undocumented migrants.
Can you repeat that?
Name one allocation of federal expenditure that Biden spent on undocumented migrants. One federal program that benefits undocumented migrants.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Because they don't exist.
Okay.
So all three of your claims there were wrong.
Okay, and I'm fine with that. I'm not gonna get mad. I still believe that Trump was a better candidate than Kamala.
Okay, why?
Well, Kamala, she literally told I don't care what her name is. First of all, she lied about her race, which is weird. She said she
Oh.
was black when she's not black. She's like Indian or something.
Okay.
And
Real quick, do you mind if I ask you a question? I actually have 3 questions for you. The first question for you is your race American?
was I raised American? Yes,
No.
I was.
Is your race American?
No, well, my race is human. If I don't really believe in race, I believe that everybody's human. It's the human race.
So it's funny. So it's called horseshoe theory. When you go so far right, you start to bleed in left. He's so fucking racist that he doesn't believe in race, which aligns with a leftist perspective of viewing race as a social construct created to perpetuate oppression against black individuals.
So Bruce Lee
But
was racist.
I just want to point that out. I think that's funny. I want to finish this out. So you said her race was Indian. Okay. Indian's not a race. Indian is a nationality. What you mean to say is South Asian. Okay, next question. How many parents do you have?
2.
Okay, you have 2 parents.
Yeah, what do you
How
think
many
my dad
parents
was?
does Kamala Harris have?
I don't know. I don't care about her life that much.
Okay, so everyone has 2 parents, right?
Well,
in the sense of individuals that were necessary for the biological parents, I should say.
Yes.
So everybody has 2 biological parents, right?
Yes.
You get your DNA, your expression of phenotypical traits, etc., from how many of those 2 people? Both of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So she's South Asian. That is true because her mother's South Asian, but she's also black because her father's black.
Since when?
Since he was born as an Afro-Jamaican.
That's news to me.
Well, I know. You don't do any research before you say that black women aren't black to further perpetuate racism against black women. I get it. No, just kidding. I don't get it. That was very facetious and satirical.
Okay. Well, it doesn't really matter, though, because both sides are ran by the same person, right? And what you're doing is dividing people, which is degeneracy.
Both sides are ran by the same person.
Yeah, they're ran by
anti-Semite.
Oh!
Exactly. Oh, man!
They're not even children of Shem. They're not even children of Shem.
Jinx! Oh, Jinx!
They're not even
Jinx! Jinx! I gotcha! Jinx! I got
Yeah, why does every president have to
the
pay
plot
homage to
thickens!
Israel?
The plot thickens, everybody!
Even the Jewish people in Israel don't like the
plot
American
thickens!
Jews.
The plot
Okay,
thickens!
Okay, be a brainwashed.
Bam! So yeah, moving on to the next guest. We got Levon loading up into the stream. All right. We're going to get the next guest up into the stream. Veteran, thank you so much for the $50 super chat over on YouTube saying you're fighting the impossible fight, and I salute you. Yo, Veteran, I appreciate you for the love. Everybody, let's show some love to Veteran down below in the chat for the $50 super chat over on YouTube. Honestly, at times, including right now, this fight does feel a little bit fucking impossible. I will absolutely affirm that. That is true, Mr. Veteran. As well as Jojo, thank you for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. If you're watching and you want to support me, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio. I get 100% of the proceeds over those platforms. They all go straight to me, as well as in there in the pinned message over on the YouTube stream, as well as you'll get a shout out because I'll be able to read off your name in an attached message. What is going on, Joshua? Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir. Hey, I spoke to you yesterday, but I did my research now. And so, because you said I didn't do my research, so I thought I'd do my research. Yes, remember?
How long was our conversation?
It was roughly about 10 minutes.
And it ended with you not doing your research and then leaving?
No. We agreed to disagree because I didn't do my research on my stuff, and I said I'd get back with you once I did my research.
What was the claim about?
The claim was on how the tariffs and the Doge implementations weren't paying off at all.
Oh, like an argument that like the tariffs will lead to a long-term gain. Let's hear it. I'll hear you out. I will. Oh, you're lagging, Joshua, and it shows that you're in pause. So I'm not sure if anybody hears you. Joshua. Oh, Joshua's not doing too well. Chat, can you guys hear Joshua right now, or can you not hear him because it shows that he's teacupped? You can't hear him. Joshua, swipe in and out of the app for me. No, you guys can't hear him. I
There?
get that. Yeah, no, you're back. Go ahead. All right, give me the argument. I
Okay.
know that you over on YouTube can't hear. Give me the argument that Donald Trump's tariffs will lead to a total long-term gain. Now you're out of the app again. If you can't see me, I can't hear you. Fun fact, quite frankly.
Okay. Does it not have picture in picture? Because I did the notes or whatever because I didn't want to come at this.
I'm sorry, there's not a picture in picture.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, anyways, basically, don't. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. Okay. Anyways, I did my research on how the prices on different stuff that average Americans buy, and yes, they did take a very high incline when Donald Trump was elected into office, but on certain things like certain major imports that China did massively produce, now that they have moved production to other countries, many of those things such as car parts and all that stuff have gone down in price, and you can look that up.
Okay, so you cannot move your production in 2 months. It actually takes 6 years. Additionally, if what you meant by move production is
I'm not talking about companies moving production. I'm talking about
just buying from manufacturers in other countries.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So no. The reason why I'm saying this is because essentially what you're telling us is that we could get a car part from China for $5, but then we could get it from Canada for $2. Okay, well if that was true,
with the tariffs, it evens out. Yeah, you can finish, but
if that was the case, then we would have bought it from Canada in the first place.
Yeah, I know.
So what you're saying cannot be the case.
The Chinese product is better and more mass produced, so it was easier to get. But now, since the tariffs have made it more expensive, that's why we were choosing the said Canadian product in this thing now.
Okay, but
so
all things considered, it's still going to be more expensive. Think about it this way: you're saying that the car part from China is $5, the car part, the same car part from, let's say Canada is $6, so you're going to buy it from China. Okay, but then
the tariffs add taxes and import fees. Am I not wrong?
Joshua, you got to let me finish, man. I promise I'm going to get around to exactly what you're referencing, but you got to be able to let me talk.
I'm letting you talk.
Okay, I'm not going to give you pushback because you said notes, but no, you weren't. You interrupted me. Anyways, let's assume that you could get an identical car part from China for $5, and you could get the same car part from Canada for $6. Obviously, you're going to be going to China for that car part and spending $5, but then the tariffs hit. And then all of a sudden, that car part from please don't interrupt me, from China is $10, right? But that car part from Canada is still $6. Okay, so what you're telling me is then you source from Canada and you get the lower price. Well, it's only the lower price compared to what the new price of the good produced in Canada is. It is not a lower price compared to what you've been paying for the good historically, meaning that inflation still occurs because you're paying more for the product after the tariffs on China were implemented than before the tariffs on China were implemented.
Okay. Now listen to my ultimatum. I think that's the word. Is that the word? Ultimatum?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, so what my next point is, in the long run, when they do move factories for these said $6 items, and as it has been stated, I think it's around 15 or 12 major manufacturers have said they will move their base of manufacturing to America, which will bring more American jobs, higher GDP per capita, well, for certain states, and will also grow the U.S. economy. And doing so, and it's going to take time, obviously, like all things have consequences now and then long-term consequences. So yes, it's going to take a while for these to be shown, but as we're already seeing with, I'm not going to refer back to the stock market because the stock market, is so up and down. You can never, in my opinion, you can never base in the long term a president's decision on the stock market. Short term, yes, but long term, no.
I
Do you
think
agree with that?
Well, I'm going to disagree with what you said that these tariffs are going to send more companies to produce in America. That's not going to happen.
Okay. Okay.
Can we agree that for these companies to move to America, that they'd have to have confidence that the tariffs imposed on the country they're moving from are there to stay?
Oh, yes, 100%. I agree with that.
Donald Trump's tariffs on other countries are self-admittedly not there to stay, and he's using them as a negotiation tactic to get other countries to reduce their own tariffs on us. So, in other words, Donald Trump's tariffs will not incentivize companies to move their production into America.
But a lot of them have, just because they don't want to face if there is possible tariffs in the future.
Like who?
I'm not saying that they won't. I mean, I'm not saying that they won't, but I'm saying some have.
I don't believe that like multinational trillion or billion dollar corporations are going to spend billions of dollars and reorganize their manufacturing structure and spend 3 to 6 years to build facilities inside of America based upon speculation. So which companies
Hey, you ready?
specifically
You ready?
referring to?
Ready?
Hmm?
Okay. Toyota is opening a major manufacturing thing. I'm pretty sure in Texas. But I'm pretty sure it's Toyota, one of the Chinese manufacturing companies. And also, another thing is, the whole thing about British steel, and this is outside of the U.S., of course, but it's just another thing of where basically the British Parliament forced British steel to back open, but with a new owner. So now it used to be a Chinese-owned steel manufacturing business that would ship all their steel back to China, but now it is for the British people. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of
Jana,
these
thank you
Chinese...
so much for the flying jets. I do really appreciate you so much for that love. That's incredibly kind. Thank you so much.
But for all these Chinese-based companies, a lot of them are becoming more American independent. That's what I'm trying to say.
So Toyota is already produced in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And it has been for a long time, as well as their Japanese, not Chinese.
Yeah,
and
my bad.
I don't see anything.
I wasn't trying to racialize there.
And
I just didn't know those exact specifications.
I'm gonna ignore that. As well as I don't see Toyota included in any statement about moving for more U.S. expansion in response to Trump's tariffs. Listen, at the end of the day, these companies just simply are not going to move manufacturing into America. If he's going to be using these tariffs as a tool to negotiate better trade agreements with other countries, which he is, because they're going to have confidence that they're there to stay. I think that we saw a lot of companies kind of like jump at the gate and say that they're kind of like assessing opportunities to expand into U.S. production in response to Donald Trump's tariffs originally. But I think his intentions became more clear to simply use them as a tool to negotiate better trade agreements with other countries. Like inevitably, like this isn't going to happen.
Okay. Now my next statement. These, looking at it from a independent standpoint, not from a liberal or conservative standpoint, with these trade, the future generations to come. Not talking about his policies, I'm talking about the trade deals that he's implying. I'm talking about the trade. I'm talking about the trade deals.